Aussie. 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 Angry Aussie. Aussie. Angry.
Great. Hello, who? What's Heine having problems with Wikipedia? I was using it just a few minutes ago. Something on my laptop. So musical aviator might have it right. It might just be something with your internet connection, Heine. Wikipedia loads fine and instantly for me. So I think the problem is something to do with your internet, Heine. We got it washed my hair today, and so it's all fluffy. And I was trying to do multiple things this afternoon, and basically didn't finish any of them, which means I don't even have a drink ready for the start of the stream. God damn. All right, but we are little troopers and do not let things like that slow us down. Get some orange peel. Oh yeah, love getting that orange zest in the drink. Hey Greg, how's it going? Put that in there. Oh, you know what? I want a cherry just because I want a cherry. I keep forgetting to put that back in the fridge. Anyway. All right. Even just doing something mundane like stacking the dishwasher. And I didn't finish it. But anyway, shit. Heine, works on Firefox. Well, I don't know what sort of Chrome problem would cause the problem, but oh man, these cherries don't hold their structure as well as the Luxardo ones. They tasted better when I put a much richer cherry syrup in there, but I made I made it myself. Yeah, they fall apart. And this one, I just speared one and it was looking a bit weird. I'm starting to ask myself questions about these cherries. Cherry syrup. Yep, Heine, looks like there's weirdness happening with your machine and or your internet thing. Oh God, now I've got that light on. It's shining on my head. I'm going to turn it off. See my laptop on over there. I was working on a script for a cocktail video. Hello, Megaleech. Did I say hello? If I did, I'm saying it again. Hello. Oh, okay. Cheers, y'all. That's right. This needs sugar. Honestly, I could probably survive without it, but I don't want it. So, where's this syrup? It's nearly gone. That's it. All right. Put some syrup in here. That'll do. And I got to clean that bottle. Lissard, hello, greets. Painting your mum's birthday gift. That, oh my God, that's excellent. Personalized birthday gifts. of an artistic nature. Very nice. I like it. What form does your painting take? What is going to be the gift? If that's not too personal a question. Oh yeah, no, that's actually much better. Glad I did that. All right. Yes, because I realized after I made that clarified cocktail, I hadn't put any sugar in it. And I thought, that'll be fine. And it is fine because it had fruit juices in it, but it's just a bit better with a bit of sweetener in it. Oh, God, that's gross. Right, I think that might be getting turfed, that orange right there. So, Lisa art, not personal, a heart, acrylic on canvas, drippy eyeballs, a little difficult to describe. I'm loving it. I'm loving the sound of it. And I think it's an absolutely excellent gift to be giving someone a personalized piece of art. Even if it's like, I don't mean personalized as in art of or for them, but an individual artistic expression as a gift. I think that is an excellent gift. Spoken as a person with no artistic ability, so little bit jealous that you're doing this creativity. Only, not in a super all-consuming way. Just respect, really, for the fact that you're doing this. So, go you is what I'm going to say. Oh, I'm not even drunk and being challenged for coherence. Just a little challenge I have in the world of trying to be coherent. Oh my God! I just realized I didn't have an app today. Didn't sleep that much last night. Like the stream ended like before midnight, but I only slept 6 or 7 hours, and I remember thinking I'm going to have a nap sometime today. I was not tired all today. I just felt this little twinge of tiredness now, and I realized that I never had a nap. Lisa, I do actually agree with you. Yes. Is artistic ability a myth? I think some people are innately more talented. Like some people just have a natural tendency. But yes, I agree with you. Technique, practice, world of difference. Just I feel like different people improve at different rates with practice. But I think you are basically right. Practicing your technique is how you get good. You don't, spring forth from the womb a fully formed artist. It's what's the old saying? 10,000 hours to get good. There's Shaquille O'Neal in Australia doing a press conference with Anthony Albanese. Okay, that's weird. He's supporting the Indigenous Voice campaign. And he, unsurprisingly, because it's Shaq, he makes Albanese look like a little child next to him. Hey, Safa, how you doing? There you go. I did not know Shaquille O'Neal was in Australia doing some PR for the government. Weird. Ooh, redacted search warrant for FBI raiding Trump's. Wow. I don't know if that's just illustrative, but the ABC has a picture with lots of redaction. 38 pages, heavily redacted, but reveal key details. 11 whole pages are completely blacked out. What remains is a timeline of the tussle over hundreds of highly classified documents, which ultimately led to court-authorized search of Mr. Trump's sprawling Palm Beach property. First line of the affidavit confirmed DOJ is conducting criminal investigation into classified information triggered by referral from the National Archives Records Administration, submitted by an FBI special agent trained in counterintelligence and espionage investigations, whose identity was concealed. Okay. So there was a year-long back and forth between this archive administration and Trump's lawyers, and they eventually went, Jesus, fuck you. It's like highly classified documents intermingled with personal records. Trump's such a fucking idiot. Honestly, he's just such a fucking idiot. So if he's saying Shaquille O'Neal is also doing sports bet ads, that's tacky. Oh, nice. You saw me crediting you with the name. Gotta respect when I get the idea from someone else. Safa, see, that's what Trump keeps saying. But there are several holes in what Trump's saying. One is, yes, a US president can declassify anything they want to. There is a process. You don't retroactively say, oh, the reason I have all these classified documents in not safe storage is I declassified them all. That isn't how it works. Second, there are still legal obligations about the maintaining of this information, even if it was legitimately declassified. So Trump's full of shit. Megalich, the reason no Republicans are chanting "lock him up" is because they're lying, soulless hypocrites. They are completely inconsistent and two-faced, and they're absolutely shameless about it. They don't friggin' care. They don't care how blatant their fuckery is, essentially. It's ridiculous. A music elevator, 99% likely Trump's, actually 99.99% likely he's not going to get locked up. 99% likely he's not even going to be prosecuted. It'd be fun if I'm wrong. It would be a lot of fun if I was wrong. But just the way the American system works, it's super unlikely. So FBI had probable cause to believe there were more documents at Mar-a-Lago. Duh. Probable cause to believe evidence of obstruction would be found. Judge who signed off on the search warrant ordered the document unsealed due to overwhelming public and historical interest in the case. So, oh God. The Trumps are just so, I don't know. We are absolutely witnessing the decay and collapse of the American empire. It's just gone into fast forward. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. God damn. So trying to protect civilian witnesses, law enforcement. Yeah, definitely Trump and his psychopathic followers would threaten the safety of anyone that they perceived to have evidence against him. Oh, here's a bit about the declassified. A letter from his lawyers defended the former president's conduct, said he had readily and voluntarily agreed to transfer the boxes, but good faith he'd shown was not matched when the details of the investigation were leaked. Jesus fuck. The US president has absolute authority to declassify documents. Trump has repeatedly asserted that it was declassified, an argument dismissed by many legal experts who say the laws cited by the DOJ do not take classification status into account. The affidavit states legislation referred to under Espionage Act does not use the term classified information, but rather criminalizes the unlawful retention of information relating to national defense. Yes. So no one knows what's going to happen next. But yeah, I'll stick my neck out and say Trump is not going to be prosecuted. Oh, Greg, the establishment, and this includes really the Republican establishment, don't want Orange Man to run again. And if he's I don't think prosecution's the tipping point. I think conviction's probably the tipping point. But yes, if he were convicted on these charges, he's not allowed to hold any public office in the US, let alone president. So music oh, right. The collapse of empire. It took me a second to get what you were saying there. You probably missed Spain, yeah. There are various Eurocentric people who would want to. I suppose they weren't empires, but yeah, pretty major colonizers, different parts of Europe. Some people would talk about USSR potentially, China in the modern world, but yeah, just it's freaky as fuck seeing the stuff happening in the US. Like, if you could time travel me back to 10 years ago, I would never have believed this shit. I mean, okay, there's always been conspiracy people. There's always been people who mistrust the government, not totally without cause. And it's just the degeneration in definitely the last 6 to 8 years has just been astonishing. And the fact that major political players around the world, yeah, really notably in the US, major mainstream political players go with the tactic of denying objective reality, like observable, testable, provable reality, just rejecting it. And, you know, like in previous times, you would always have had demagogues, you know, deny reality. You know, their punishment was they weren't taken seriously. They were ostracized and oofed. They, but you gain more power by denying the truth. Dr. Abigail. So you're in favor of racism then? I see. It's interesting. It's coming out now. It's coming out. Your pro-racism stance. Well, what can I say? Oh yeah, so that's just Morrison being a fucking prick. Again, saddest thing in Australia, and I think he definitely was modeling at least some of his behavior on Trump. I think that's a real thing. Just the recognition that you can do ridiculous fucking bullshit and just never acknowledge it, never play with it. So, well, I was writing a script on there just before I had a hope I might have actually shot another cocktail video before this stream. And then I thought, oh, maybe I'll just make the cocktail and shoot the close-ups of making it, and that will help me tomorrow. And then I'll have a cocktail for the show. And then I went, oh, holy shit, how did the dishes get so out of control? I've got to unpack the last lot from the dishwasher and repack it. And I didn't even finish that. So there's a bunch of shit I didn't finish. But I did do my laundry today. That's my exciting life. Super excited by it being sunny and warm today and tomorrow because I get to hang washing on the line outside rather than having it on racks inside. Yes, Craig, it's sort of a thing in a lot of sci-fi, an indication of terrible things is the US president being super dodgy. And I bet you are relieved to be home and resting, Dr. Abigail. Yes, after I went for a walk, like Mrs. Angry and I like to do an afternoon walk, and just in this shirt. No, I was thinking, oh, well, I put just like my denim jacket on, a light jacket. But no, I don't need to. This is the first short-sleeved walk of the season. Like just, the other day, walking, jacket on because it was fucking cold. And today and tomorrow, nice. In fact, we're thinking of going out at lunchtime, like getting some fish and chips, being in the open air, that type of thing, to celebrate this early taste of spring. It's always August. Actually, no, September is spring, isn't it? And we're almost in September, so there you go. See, you planned this time, Dr. Abigail. Had your entire PC and a few monitors. Yes, you get lack of monitor anxiety. If there had been an open bar on my walk, I might have walked into. I just wear my cocktail shirts every day. That's become, that was my lockdown thing. Brighten up lockdown by getting flamboyant shirts. I used to wear all the t-shirts with fun designs on them. Now I don't wear t-shirts anymore. I wear these. So, and I had this one on because the video I was trying to script and wanted to shoot, and I'll probably do it tomorrow now, was from Mai Tai. So my tiki shirt. But because I play the two characters and they wear different shirts, I'll keep this out. One of them will be wearing this tomorrow. Oh yeah, I bet that was a pain in the ass moving it all. Yeah, no, I bet that was a whole thing. So you have lavender trees out your way, Safa? All the blossoms are coming out now, which, because I'm a very butch manly man, I really like flowers. I like it when all the blossoms come out. Very pretty. Some around here are white and some are pink. Very nice. But it brightens up the walk, sort of walking under these blossoming trees. I really like it. No. I do like spring, and I like the flowers. And there's like tons of Mrs. Angry's orchids flowering at the moment. They start in mid to late. She's actually got different orchids that flower at different times of the year. She's done that on purpose as well. but there's a special bunch of them that flower in mid to late winter and sort of survive till early spring. So now. So there's a lot of very, very colourful orchids just out there. Have posted some pictures to my socials. Really not sure about these cherries. Okay, to the extent I know I'm not getting them again. Going to stick with the Luxardo. Your Monstera is getting too big. Well, it is vodka. Sorry. Icy Saracen's comment confused me. What do you expect? The plant's called a Monstera. Of course it's going to get out of control. And Icy Saracen, vodka lemonades. Well, enjoy. Like one of my clarified cocktails. And then I'm going to make a drink. I was thinking of making these. This is something I just got. Slow Passion Gin. It's a form of slow gin, except it's made with passion fruit, not slow, which is what blackthorn. That's it. The traditional English fruity gin, which is called sloe, SLOE. That's the berries from a blackthorn bush, and so that's done in that style, but it's passion fruit flavor. So they're okay. This recipe. Use slow passion gin, lemon juice, coconut milk, egg white, sugar syrup. Call that slow and passionate. And there's a pass fiction. Pash fiction, because it's passion fruit. So the slow gin, Aperol, lemon juice, vanilla syrup, passion fruit pulp, and bitters. Build over crushed ice and stir. Might make that. So a Boston fern planted, and you did it. Yes, I remember you actually printing the self-watering pots. So successfully trying to take over the lounge room, sending out runners. I actually really enjoy. Mrs. Angry has a particular sort of vine thing, and have it in the bathroom, and it really likes because you get the steam from the showers, and over time it grows really long vines. In her old place, she had one where it had these vines. They were meters long, like probably all up, like it was huge, and they were everywhere. And I had to cut that back to move it, but it's been growing in the bathroom here for a couple of years, and it's a couple of meters long now. Nowhere near as impressive as it used to be, but continues to grow. Yes, the bathroom's like a little hothouse. Okay, I quite like that. Okay, goodo. Like my drink. You know who else didn't do anything wrong? Captain Jellicoe. Riker was an insubordinate ass. Well, Riker was a bit of a tool, and I don't know my Star Trek well enough to actually understand that reference. The name Captain Jellicoe sounds familiar. But yeah, Riker was an ass. Fucking Janeway. Tuvix deserved to die. I have heard some both compelling and funny arguments about why Janeway was a fucking terrible captain. Just made just shit awful decisions. But yeah. In fact, what could be fun if I did a search on that? Janeway was a terrible captain. What comes up if we do this? Do you think Janeway, as a Reddit thread, do you think Jane, yeah, Reddit's, they're probably just going to be misogynist. Ooh, Screen Rant, the 10 worst. Okay, this sounds like fun. The 10 worst things Janeway ever did. Get your take on this, Abigail. So, kidnapped 7 of 9. Okay. Almost sacrificed Kez. Dooming the Ocampa. Promoting everyone except Harry Kim. Underestimating Fairhaven. Forging the Borg Alliance. Abandoning her crew in the void. When they were in the void, Janeway holed up in her room and abandoned her crew to their own devices. Choosing Ferengi justice over going home. Giving Hirigen's holodeck technology. Stranding Voyager in the Deltacon. Yeah, that all seems kind of boring. Maddie Gates, Wrestling Days, who knows where he is? And hello, Benathi, as well. Dr. Abigail, I am literally being prejudging that Reddit thread, but my immediate thought is boys on the internet talking about how they don't like a girl in science fiction. I immediately think it's going to be fucked. But, well, okay, I'll look at the Reddit thread. So someone saying they just think there was a terrible writer. Oh, there's actually only 18 comments on it. Actually, there's not much to this. Most people say she's okay, bad writing. There's one. Was Janeway a terrible captain? Tuvix sure thought so. Benathi, I'm just finishing my clarified cocktail in a bottle. I've got to get creative, and Lisa, was Voyager the first Trek series that didn't have Roddenberry involved? I don't know. I'm sure Dr. Abigail would know that. Puck God, hello. How are you? So, Dr. Abigail, Voyager suffered from bad writing, episodic nature. See, I don't watch enough Star Trek to have a strong opinion on these things. Dr. Abigail saying Deep Space Nine was the first to not have Roddenberry involved. There you go. I like I've probably seen, not probably, I have definitely seen more of Deep Space Nine than Voyager. I liked that whole war thing they had going on, and was terribly disappointed with its Deus Ex Machina resolution. In that these other worldly beings stepped in because the captain was going to get himself killed, and they said, no, he's a chosen one, he can't be killed. So they stepped in and stopped it from happening. That was it. The Dominion War. I thought that was good. Bonathi. My offspring are fine. Actually, they're doing good. I've been getting the funniest stories this week. Young was angry, complaining about being on a group project where other people are doing nothing. Well, then she got one person on board, and then that person agreed that the other two were fucking useless and weren't doing anything. But she's successfully got some sort of completion of the group project that had to be submitted on before Monday. So they finished it today and they're submitting it tomorrow. But yes, been getting very fun stories about how group projects suck. And I mean, look forward to that in a workplace where you also cannot rely on other people. And you will find situations where, unless you're the bad one, you're going to end up doing someone else's work because you're like, well, I'm fucked if this doesn't get done. And they're not doing what they're meant to do. So I have to do it. Damn it. That's a thing. Neat resolution of Deus Ex presented in Star Trek Online to consider headcanon. Look, well and good. I just thought it was incredibly disappointing. The thing they built up for so long and was honestly really good. And then just to do a straight up, the hand of God reaches in and solves everything. And it's like, fuck me. Okay, sure. That's one way to resolve things. Oh, and if you're not familiar with that term, by the way, Deus Ex Machina, God in the machine. It's a Greek thing, and it's from these old Greek plays. I know this from having done a theatre degree. There were a number of these Greek plays, tragedies, that the resolution was literally someone was lowered down on ropes, like the machine lowered down, and they go, okay, the gods have seen you fucked everything up and they're setting everything right. And then this character would tell everyone what they did wrong, and now it will all be fine. And so it was the God in the machine that solved everything. As yes, you would know that better than me, Dr. Abigail. It was the season cliffhanger, not the series ending. Oh yeah. So, but no, I just meant the resolution to the war. It fucking sucked. So Lisa, time to get screw in your head. Guidance will be Goldberg's character, last character Roddenberry wrote. Okay. Seen more original and TNG. Okay. Yes, of course, they brought her back in the last season of Picard, which apparently like no one liked. I was like, it was fine. I watched it. I didn't mind it. I feel like a lot of the time I have much less strong opinions about TV shows and movies than a lot of people do. Okay, series ending to the war didn't have anything to do with the prophets in the wormhole. Yeah, it's just that. See, I just stopped paying attention because I was like, when I first saw that, and I have seen it more than once because Mrs. Angry is the real Trekkie of the household, and she's watched it with her offspring numerous times. I've actually seen it more than once, but the first time I saw that, I was just like, really? Okay, sure. And so I kind of lost interest in understanding anything larger. Because, man, that was some disappointing shit. Now, I'm going to make this drink. Maybe? Have I got 30 mils in it? Oh. Okay, I'm not tired, but my brain is just like, let's not think about anything too complex, big guy. We didn't sleep enough last night. And, yeah. So, was there anything more fun in the news? Ooh, there's an explosion at a unit in Sydney's West. Yeah. Did you see this, Dr. Abigail? Melbourne's Gertrude Street was named the second coolest street in the world. There you go. Yeah, see, Dr. Abigail, that got in the machine thing. I lost interest. I just lost interest. So I don't know what happened. Lisa, you've been more of a Whovian. I'm much more Doctor Who than Star Trek. Like so much more. Oh God, yes. And Lachlan Murdoch sued Crikey, which is probably going to blow up in his face, but who fucking knows? Particularly Australia's defamation laws are fucked. So who knows? It's all a bit weird. Yes, Dr. Abigail, I like Gertrude Street too. So apparently how it works is this magazine, just for its readers around the world, like, what's the coolest street in your city and why? And everyone votes, and then there's like, what's there? And then their experts look at the reasons people said the streets were cool, and they evaluated it. Apparently the coolest street was, I think, in Montreal. It was in Canada. Apparently the last time they did it, Smith Street, Collingwood, won coolest street in the world. So there you go. But this time, Gertrude Street came second. So sorry, Dr. Abigail, is that all caps Canada? Is that shock, surprise, joy, support, outrage? I know it's an exclamation, but I don't know the flavor of the exclamation. Getting back to looking at my cocktail book as well. What's it up to? Oh, that's right. I made a Vieux Carré with my most expensive whiskey, and so that was finally a cocktail that I liked it in. Oh, there you go. Smith Street actually intersects Gertrude Street. There you go. Okay, yeah, so that Canada was outrage and shaking your fist. Yep, fair enough. And hey, Jude Maris. I don't know what emoji that was meant to be, but my StreamYard did not translate it. I just see text. Chill work cat. Okay. And hello, Justin. Actually, I think I know how to see it. Let me see. What's it going down? Oh, yes. Oh, it's a cat in a box. Okay. Cat popping out of a box. I just looked at it on YouTube, and it is showing up in the YouTube chat, but it doesn't translate into the StreamYard chat, which I see. So there you go. Now I'm just kind of on this one level is like, I'm gonna have a drink. I'm gonna have a drink Saturday night. Have a drink Saturday night, and motivation's quite low though. I could have a little tin of passion fruit that I could use to make this Pash fiction. Yes, Megaleech. It might be a reference to Schrodinger's cat because it's a cat in a box. Justin, I don't believe he will be. It's and if he is indicted, I don't believe he'll be convicted. Dr. Abigail, my favorite thing about Schrodinger's cat is it was actually Schrodinger saying quantum mechanics is absolutely giving me the shits, because this bit about the act of observation changing something is pissing me off. And he came up with the Schrodinger's cat thing to say how stupid it was and it was pissing him off. I think a lot of people assume Schrodinger gave that example to just blow everyone's mind and saying, see, it's like that. But he actually did that because it was giving him the shits. And Jude's got another funny not. Yes, okay, yeah, funny not funny stories, just like ouch. But there's you got to laugh or you cry things. Justin, I've done Trump indictment cocktails before. You know, got to be orange, obviously. Bitter, probably, because he's bitter. Yeah, it's just you know, I don't come up with a good cocktail if I think about Trump, because the other thing I just thought of was be weak as piss and fake, because Trump's weak as piss and fake. So yeah, I just, if I think of Trump, I don't think of good cocktails. I just think, well, if it's going to be a Trump cocktail, one assumes it's going to be as awful as Trump is. So not great, in other words. So all right, now I'm just drinking melted ice. What are we going to do? You know what? I'm just going to have something in the fridge. What do we got? 2 barrel-aged cocktails. And my apple liqueur. Now, let's see. So, okay, Jude, with your story. Doctor found you were protein deficient, ordered you to consume 60 grams a day. Couldn't do it, so got protein powder. Okay. Yes, okay, I'm intrigued as to where this is going to go. All righty. I'm going to look up a cocktail with apple liqueur in it. See what comes up. Banana Lovers Day today. There you go. Oh, it's the anniversary of the Krakatoa eruption, believed to have been the loudest explosion ever. 25 times the power of the biggest nuclear explosion in human history. Sea rushed in, sucking ships towards it, and then the 850-meter peak collapsed, sending tidal waves at least 30 meters high, rushing towards the coast, obliterating villages, killing at least 36,000 people. The noise of the explosion was audible at least a third of the globe, across at least a third of the globe. On an island off the coast of Africa, so far away the sound took 4 hours to reach there, it sounded like the roar of heavy guns in Alice Springs, Australia. So much ash was thrown up in the sky, temperatures were disrupted for 5 whole years. There were pumice islands in the sea for many months. There you go. That's pretty fucking dramatic. It's Krakatoa Day. Oh, Jesus, what the shit did I do then? I did something bad. So you protein powder, whey protein powder high as casein, which is inflammatory, and it was. Entire lower spine, hips, legs constantly in agony. Oh, god damn. That fucking sucks. That's a fun sentence, Justin. The news is indicating he will be indicted. Fucking English. Look at that. Those two fucking words start exactly the same and you pronounce them absolutely different. Indicated and indicted. Not how is. Yeah, I can't even pronounce indicating as if it was indicted. Indicting, and he will be indicted. Indicted's easy enough. The average ejaculate contains 250 milligrams of protein, so in a rip-roaring, world-breaking record bukkake party with 240 men would give you the protein. And there's money in that too. So, you know. I like the creative thinking, Dr. Abigail. So you've got degenerative disc disease, inflammatory won't for the weakest link. God damn, that fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. Yes, and Justin, the other thing about news indicating he'll be indicted. Here's the thing: the media is often wrong, and particularly political pundits are regularly wrong. It's in uncharted territory at the moment. So who the fuck knows what will happen? So a cocktail bill. No, that's not what I wanted. Cocktail finder. Okay. Liqueur. Apple. What do they say? Apple schnapps. All right, I'm just lemon. Okay, so I'm literally just going. What does it recommend with apple schnapps? 50 results. A frisky bison. You got to love a cocktail called a frisky bison. Sweet and sour, fruity, minty, and fresh. An apple strudel. Apple Manhattan. American pie. Do you stick your dick in it? Hey, what's in a frisky bison? Of course, bison grass vodka. Ugh. 2 shots of fucking vodka cocktails, man. Honestly. So, an American pie. Whiskey. Apple schnapps. Creme de myrtle. Jesus Christ. What's creme de myrtle? That's a berry thing. Apple juice and lime juice. Huh. All right. That gives me an idea, though. Uncharted. No, it's literally uncharted. It has never happened. There is a very strong legal and political view in the US that you sort of can't prosecute a president something someone did while they were president. I'm not saying the idea of prosecuting him is without merit. I think he should be prosecuted. I just don't think he's going to be. Justin, yes. Former conservative politicians. It's just like, you know, as I said, the lies and bullshit became their central thing. The denying of reality. Big fucking shock when the reality bites them in the ass. All right, so Jude, I could be wrong. I don't think you'll find pursuit of ex-president. And here's the thing. You can't be president of the United States without doing fucked things. And And it is also absolutely clear that the Republicans will go shit crazy feral if Trump is prosecuted, and they will just try and do payback. It will accelerate the collapse of the American empire. It shouldn't. In any decent world, it would just be like, okay, legal experts believe he has a case to answer. Okay, let's bring the case and put it before the courts and see what, and you'd wait and see which way it went. We are not living in a sane or balanced or rational world, particularly not in the US. And yes, Lisa, that's pretty much on the human body is a scam. It's really. Oh yes, Barilaro did get charged with assault and property damage, attacking someone who was pointing a camera at him. Speaking of people who clearly think they're above the law and are freaking out now that it's, looking, well, if it isn't the consequences of my actions come to visit me. It's just like, the guy is fucking ridiculous. He is absolutely fucking ridiculous, that guy. I don't know what his fucking story is. All right. I'll put this back in the fridge since I'm supposed to keep it in the fridge. I haven't been. God knows if I'm poisoning myself. It's look again, the fact that the Trump supporters are absolutely unhinged and detached from reality, and the fact that Trump is willing to abuse all societal norms is just makes everything volatile. And I agree with you, Dr. Abigail. What's the point of living in the future if we don't have a robot body? I mean, I don't know. How long ago did Chappie come out? 10 years ago? Was it that long ago? Why don't we all have Chappie bodies now with our consciousness downloaded into them? Partly because we don't know what consciousness is. And when I say partly, I mean completely. Dear. Everyone's saying, oh, yes, there's going to be a self-aware AI within 5 years. Like, motherfucker, you can't even define what consciousness is, what makes up consciousness. You just see the evidence of consciousness. So you're not going to create an artificial consciousness when you can't even sort of accurately define what makes consciousness in humans. So yes, Mimsy's getting some leftovers and she's super fucking agitated. Of course you need to know what it is to download it into Robot Brain. How do you download something when you can't quantify it? It's weird how bad the self-driving cars are, actually. And probably leader of the charlatans is Elon Musk, is just so full of shit. And it's becoming increasingly obvious the way Tesla is being run is criminally irresponsible. Because I was a big believer that, self-driving cars are a thing. I'd look again, the technology will improve. The technology currently is shit, and Musk in particular is flat out fucking lying about the capabilities of his systems. But, technology improves. It's what it does. At least you raise a good point. Dr. Abigail's wanting us to be Cybermen. See, Dr. Abigail, now you're offending me as an analyst. You're just saying a thing will happen and you cannot even define what the thing is. You can't do something with a thing if you cannot quantify what that thing is. You can quantify what makes up consciousness. You, of course, get the religious and spiritual believers who believe part of consciousness is a soul, that nebulous concept of a soul, which would be something which could never be replicated in code or downloaded, uploaded to a computer. Yeah, Dr. Abigail, that's gobbledygook. That is a bunch of words put in a particular order. You neither you nor anyone else, this is not a slight on you, the greatest minds to have existed cannot define what consciousness is to an extent. Like where does consciousness exist? How would you measure consciousness? To put your consciousness into a machine or the internet or whatever, how would you measure consciousness? We literally do not know what. Again, we can observe consciousness. We can have a concept of consciousness, but there's no clearly defined thing. Safa, no. Well, the soul's imaginary. Consciousness is a real thing. The brain certainly processes all the information. I think most people would agree. The consciousness resides in the brain, as Abigail was saying, a complex neural network up there. See, Dr. Abigail, you're describing the consciousness in abstract, and you're describing it accurately as well. But in the terms you need to understand consciousness in order to upload it to a robot or an internet or whatever, nobody knows that. Nobody can definitively say what makes up the consciousness. You can't point to a bit of a brain and say that's consciousness. It's talking about two different things. And again, to be able to replicate consciousness, you need to know to the nth degree what it is. Every single thing that goes into making up consciousness, you need to know in detail, unambiguously. And we simply do not know that. Again, Dr. Abigail, we do not know that. For a start, we don't know if it would ever be possible to copy a brain into an artificial brain. We don't know that. And you are making an incredibly broad assumption that cannot be validated at the current time. Maybe sometime in the future, we will be able to quantify it. Humans are pretty clever. Maybe we get there. At the moment, that is not quantified. You are making an assumption and you cannot prove or even adequately support that assumption. That is indistinguishable from magical thinking. And why wouldn't it be possible in the future? I don't know. When something is an unknown, we have no way of knowing if it will ever be known. And at the moment, it's an unknown. Am I saying it's impossible in the future? No, I'm not. It'd be crazy to say pretty much anything is impossible in the future. All our fun, imaginary sci-fi stuff, nanobots, faster than light travel, warp speed, etc. We may have all of those things: matter transporters, matter creators, replicators. We may have all of those things in the future. We absolutely might. You know, particularly when you take into account that human future could run into millions of years into the future. The degree to which we've changed just in the last 100 years, if humans can avoid wiping themselves out, it is absolutely impossible to have any meaningful understanding of what humans would be like in 1,000 years. Probably it's ridiculous to even try and think of what humans would be like in 100 years, but get serious. Whack out 1,000 years into the future. If, as I said, if humans don't destroy civilization, where humans would be in 1,000 years is absolutely incomprehensible. It's just like stuff we take for granted today that would just be like friggin' magic 50 years ago. Could you imagine what 1,000 years from now would be? You can jump on the stream and give you consciousness. Again, as I said, I think you were accurately describing the concept of consciousness. I was just saying that idea of uploading into an artificial brain or whatevs is pure fantasy. It is absolute fantasy. It has no grounding in reality at all. Then again, so did traveling to the moon was a fantasy 100 years ago. So much that we take for granted now was a fantasy 20 years ago. I mean, what I love is even like, original series Star Trek. Some of the technology they have in that is absolute shit compared to real technology we have here. Of course, they have all the other great stuff, the transporters and the warp drive and the lasers and and they have all that. But it's funny, particularly communications technology. Their communications technology was fucking shit compared to what we have now. So there was some really great inventive stuff in Star Trek, and other stuff actually got outstripped by reality. And Lisa, I'm also slightly pessimistic on the chances of humans not wiping out. Okay, Dr. Abigail, you don't want to come on. Okay. I didn't know if you were just speaking in the abstract. And yes, so for TVs in Star Wars with CRTs. That again, Star Wars, great inventive storytelling. How it was realized, subject to the technical limitations at the time. Now, I think a lot of modern sci-fi, because basically our computer-generated effects are so good now, you get some very good and clever projections of future technology. As I said, from nanotechnology to all things. Hello.
I want to apologize for the low light level and thus
That's okay.
the of my camera. I can't find my glasses either. I brought home like 2 bags of like 2 suitcases worth of my PC from
Yeah.
the place, and it's like I hastily put it together in my tiredness, and
Yeah.
it's I've still got stuff strewn all over the place. So, also, like I remember them saying, of original series Star Trek, out of all the technology they theorized, all this fantastic technology, transporters and warp drive
Yeah.
and all that. The one thing that they'll never, ever, ever, ever invent ever that they thought at the time would be absolutely impossible were doors that would open by themselves.
There's the
They
running
yeah.
joke. Their doors were crew behind pulling the thing
Yes. Well,
open.
even on Next Generation, it was just as it was way more easy, way more simple just to get people to open it manually.
Yeah,
It was like they thought we'll actually make them
yeah.
automatic. No, we'd just get two people to do it.
I
Eventually, they got one person with a rope and
yeah,
a mechanism to open it, but it was still very manual.
yeah,
Yes, for a laptop would be easier, but my laptop is like 4 years old and the screen is tiny,
yeah,
and I don't have it set up for gaming, and I
yeah.
get anxiety if I don't have my PC.
That's
So
fair.
like I did take my laptop to Nettie's place like every other
Yeah.
time. But last time I went there, I took my desktop and my small monitor, and I noticed how much like I could manage my anxiety. So this time,
Mm.
I took my giant 4K monitor and my other like my um, smaller monitor and
Yeah,
my desktop, and yeah, it was a voyage. Um,
yeah.
anyway, so I want to take you on a journey.
Do it.
Um,
I'm just going to get
I'm
something while you're starting the journey.
Sure. I'm going to slip into um, my Neil deGrasse Tyson slash um, science communicator um, mode here
Yeah,
and take you back to Africa a million years ago when early hominids, or even before that, um, like 30 million years ago,
yeah,
when mammals small mammals were evolving on the plains of Africa, and their
yeah.
little tiny brains were developing and getting better and better and better. And there was from um, a shift from being the hunted
Yeah,
to being the hunter.
yeah,
And and so brain, like the neural network of a brain, um, can be as simple or as complex as it needs to be. And evolution works by um, putting as little energy into something as it needs,
yeah,
um, which is incidentally, just to get off just to go on a tangent,
yeah.
how the mutation of white skin came from.
Uh-huh.
Um, Humans evolved in Africa where the sun is at its brightest, and humans
Yeah,
evolved with lots and lots of melanin in the skin to combat
yeah,
UV radiation.
yeah,
And when humans migrated to northern climates where there wasn't much UV radiation, there wasn't that selective pressure to have all this melanin production,
mm,
and so um, the humans of those regions didn't need it, and so evolved whiter and whiter and whiter skin because they just didn't need it.
yep. But as freckles
And there's
show off, the melanin is still
freckle
there.
shows it's still there. Yeah, like we can
Mm.
still do it, and anyone can get a tan.
Yeah.
You know, I could like my Scottish skin can still get a tan if I try hard enough, but um, it's a lot more work for me
Yeah.
um, than others. Um, but yeah, like and the human body is replete with like many examples of such things. But I digress. Um, as the species evolved and the brain got more and more complicated, and our senses evolved to take in more information, and the brain evolved more and more, gradually we and the universal we became more and more aware of things. We became more aware of ourselves, our feelings, emotions, fear, hunger, our surroundings, and this is just me. This is me as a scientist, someone who did a chemistry degree. I'm citing myself here.
Yeah.
This is my learned opinion, but it is just my academic opinion. Like if you look at the strict definition of consciousness, it is sapience. It is an individual's awareness of your own thoughts, your memories, your feelings, the world around you, your senses, and that it's subjective to you. That is your consciousness. You
Yes.
can't point to it. You can't say this is the area where your consciousness is in your brain, but
Yes.
it is in your brain.
Yes.
So, and I do believe, but I could be wrong. There have been case studies where people have had brain injuries, surgeries where they've had parts of the brain taken out, and it's affected their consciousness. Certain parts of their awareness has been turned on,
It's
turned off, or
completely changes personality in some people.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's completely I'm completely justified, I believe, in saying consciousness is in the brain, and
I don't think
feel
anyone's
like
going to argue with you.
no, and but I just wanted to, from first principles, I just wanted to
Yeah.
establish that fact as a foundation, which is why
Yeah.
I wanted to come on a journey here.
Yeah, let's do a
I wanted
journey. I
to,
like journeys.
yeah, I wanted to slip into my Neil deGrasse Tyson mode, my
Hmm.
science communicator
Tell
mode.
me what's wrong with some
Um,
movies. Sorry.
oh, well, I was just talking about Interstellar before with Will.
Yeah.
One of my favorite all-time movies. They
Yeah,
get
I
a
love
lot of
that.
science right,
Yeah.
but it is a hard tangent. It's like
Oh, yeah.
it's basically yeah. It's not even it's way off. Um, but I can tell you what's wrong with it if you want scientifically. Um, after this.
Matt
Um,
Damon would never
anyway.
do anything bad. That's what's scientifically wrong with it.
um, look, I think the only way you could improve Interstellar is by somehow injecting Sean Bean into it and then
Ooh,
killing him.
and killing him. Yeah, he should be more. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because just to make up for The Martian, because he was in The Martian and didn't die.
Yeah.
I think
His career died in The Martian.
not because of The Martian, but
No,
it
no,
was
no, no, no. His character in The Martian had his
oh,
career killed
his character. Yes, yes. I think he refuses to take parts when he dies now as
because it
a
became a
point of
running
pride.
joke. I
Yeah.
think I've told the story. A lesser known. Well, he's not that lesser known. Charles Dance is quite well known. He
Mm.
dies in almost everything. Fun fact: back in the '90s, in a shared house, a housemate who I really did not like, dead fucking ringer for Charles Dance. And at that point, Charles Dance had only made
Was
about four or five
he
films.
was in Game of Thrones, yeah? He was
Yeah,
the
dies in Game of
patriarch.
Thrones. Yeah. But
Yeah.
his first 4 or 5 films, he dies in all of them. And when we worked this out, because this guy was pissing off other people in the house too, like, yeah, he looks like Charles Dance. Everyone agrees. And we hey, do you ever notice Charles Dance dies in everything? So if you ever want some catharsis, because Glenn's pissing you off, just go watch the Charles Dance movie. And I mean, like, yeah, one of them, he got a
Yes.
fucking rock dropped on him. It was wild.
Yeah.
Huge fucking rock crushed him.
Yep.
That was the best. Yeah, Glenn just got crushed by a huge rock. Yes.
Anyway, so to continue on consciousness, I posit
Yes.
that as our brains evolved
Yeah.
and became more and more complicated,
Yeah.
and our consciousness was an emergent property of that. Now,
Yeah.
it's not what you said. It was word salad. and
Only in
only
again.
to a
I
layman,
just want to say
because
only in the specific thing of you could upload a brain to thing. I think no. I think you
okay,
were accurately describing consciousness as we understand it, but that is of no
okay,
value at all in solving how
sure.
to upload it to a machine.
Well, I disagree, and I'll explain why I disagree.
Mhm.
Um, understanding neural networks like I do, I did an honors degree in computer science, and part of it was with neural networks.
Yeah,
Understanding how neural networks work. Now, I'm not a neuroscientist. The human brain is orders of magnitude, several orders of magnitude more complicated than the ones used in computer science. It's like astronomically more complicated. But you still, like in the simple ones that we use, you still get emergent properties happen. Like it just happens.
yeah.
And if you were to copy the specifics of like all the parameters of a neural network into another framework, you would get that emergent behavior as well. And I would posit that just literally copying every single parameter of a human brain into an artificial construct designed to emulate the brain, you would also copy that emergent behavior.
I don't disagree that that's a possibility at some point in the future. I know,
Of course.
you're yeah.
As I said before, at the moment, we are merely monkeys, glorified monkeys, having the blurst of times banging away
Yeah.
on typewriters.
Yeah. So you're channeling Neil
So,
deGrasse Tyson. I'll channel Sabine Hofstetter, however you pronounce her last name.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Hossenfelder.
yeah,
Yes.
that's just magical thinking. Uh, it is.
Yes.
She's brutal when she like
She yeah.
anyone talks
She
multiverse theory. She's just like that's not testable. It's not meaningful. It's not
of
science.
course.
It's religion. Um,
She's she is very grounded in the here and now,
yeah,
which is fine. We need people like that. But,
yeah,
I like to dream of the future a bit more than she does. I love her videos too, don't get me wrong.
yeah, yeah,
I watch them too. I'm subscribed to her channel.
yeah.
Um, she's very grounded in the here and now, and
Yeah,
I love it a bits. Um,
yeah.
and
It's
and
funny
of
when
course
she
it's
tears
magical thing.
into
Of
people.
course, I want my robot buddy. Come on, let me
Yeah,
dream. Ah.
yeah,
But um, I mean, 100 years in the future,
yeah.
maybe
Dude, I'm going to
200.
say that story is complete fabrication, utterly false.
And what is it? The
Saying people
phenomenon
getting
of
an organ transplant take on personality of the person who. I'm going to
nah.
go with absolutely
I
false, absolutely
I
100% false.
pictures or it didn't happen. I
Yeah,
don't believe that for a second.
no. Um, I mean, I wrote a science fiction story once where with it was someone in the future and they'd gotten to fix their eyes, they'd got someone who donated their brain to science and they reconnected some of the brain tissue, which was only meant to interpret signals from the optic nerve. But because of a lack of understanding about how brains really worked, they started getting memories of the person who died
Oh,
100 years earlier.
ugh,
Oh, and it was
yikes.
like it started off as dreams, and
Yep.
then they realized it was a bit more than that, and they started to find the history of the person who donated the brain tissue, and they found out they were dreaming things that had actually
Oh,
happened to this person. And then it
okay.
became a murder mystery. How did the
Interesting.
person die? And it was
Okay.
fun. It was a
Okay, so
fun story.
yeah, I like stories like that.
Yeah,
Um, when I say pictures or it didn't happen, it's a
it's an
I'm not
internet
saying
joke. Yeah,
it's an internet thing. I'm not saying literally show me the pictures. It's like evidence. I want to see evidence.
It's like the
Also,
slightly more.
I
Sorry?
like get to show off my Star Trek tattoo because I've got like
Yes.
a singlet on.
The slightly more sober way of putting that, which you have done as well, like to AD, like extraordinary claims require
Right.
extraordinary evidence.
Yes.
Like the more
Yes.
outlandish your claim, the more you have to produce evidence to back it up.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Now, on that, I'm going to fetch myself a drink.
Good idea.
Um,
Drinks are awesome.
I
Sorry.
Yes, they are, and it's a Saturday night. I'm
It
back
is.
at home. I'm back in my Secret Labs chair.
Yeah.
My $800 gaming chair that I absolutely love. I got the neck size up for that is reasonable because I like to sit cross-legged.
Yeah.
And it's great, and it will not fail on me because I love
Yeah.
it. Anyway, I'm ranting. I'm gonna
All
get
right.
a glass.
Yeah.
I shall
Dude,
return.
I'm gonna say that bit there, that's the epitome of magical thinking. Saying that someone's behavior changed after they had an organ transplant, and then the donor's family said, that's exactly how the
Oh,
donor behaved.
have you ever heard of confirmation bias?
Yeah. It
Yeah, that's what
that's what
confirmation
it is.
bias looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, that is one of the classic. Oh God, what's the phrase for it? It's a cognitive bias, confirmation bias. There are a whole range of cognitive biases that we're all susceptible to one degree or another. But confirmation bias is where you see things that you believe reinforce something you already believe. And so you read too much into something because you can go, because that happened, that proves this thing I think is true. And therefore, that definitely happened. And the thing I think is true is definitely true because that's evidence. And
What's
it's not.
this? Confirmation bias?
Confirmation bias. Yeah.
Oh, also, um, when you are looking at evidence, and by evidence I mean just like you could be browsing the internet, you could be
Yeah.
looking at news articles, and your brain is always. I'm having some gin, by the way.
Nice. That big unwieldy bottle.
Yeah, it's great. Your brain is always waiting, giving weight to one article or another,
Yeah.
one piece of
Yeah.
evidence or another, and you like because we're all human and we're all infallible. We're all fallible. Sorry.
Fallible.
Um,
Yes.
um, we always give an unconscious emotional bias to what we believe in. It's like it just we can't help it. It like it sparks like endorphins in our brain when we read something that confirms what we want to believe because it
Yeah.
feels good,
Yeah.
and it literally causes pain
Yeah.
when we read something that we don't want to read.
Yeah.
So we weigh evidence more favorably in our favor, and that is the
Yeah.
nature of confirmation bias. And
Yeah.
you can read one article that proves what you want to prove and 10 articles that disprove it and still believe that one article
Yes.
because of this confirmation
Hello,
bias.
vaccine deniers.
Yes. And when you are trained as a scientist, they drill that into you, and even then it's so hard to get rid of that
Oh
it
yeah.
doesn't always
Oh,
work.
there's
Like
there's
there
there's
are
shit tons of
of
bad
s-
bias in
of tra-
science.
oh yeah, yeah, it's impossible to get rid of,
You
and
hope
that
it's
is why.
self-correcting over time, but
Well, that's why the nature of the scientific method is to peer review, to
yeah,
remove that bias, and even then, that it's not 100%.
yeah,
Because then you've got like the systems in place, capitalism and an
yeah,
editorial process and
yeah.
fucking social constructs and oh,
Which is another
academia.
Sabine video I watched recently, she's going like, 5 big problems of bias in
Oh,
science and how to work against them. And
mm.
and she decided like it's hard to get funding for science. So people do
Mm.
stuff that's popular or interesting or exciting.
Yep.
And
Oh, there are huge problems in academia at the moment. It's
yeah.
just insane. Um,
Uh,
yeah, and like there's a huge in the West, especially in
yeah.
Australia and the US, academics working for universities uh, are under a huge amount of pressure to just publish, write paper after paper after paper, and
Yeah.
they just like have to grind out these papers.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, they have to the universities want more and more students, more and more students,
Yeah.
and so they've gone from semesters to trimesters, um, and so the workload for managing students has gone up, giving less time for research because they're mutually exclusive. You can't
Mm.
do research when you're teaching.
Yeah.
Um, well, it's very hard to.
Yeah.
You like when you're grading papers and doing
Yeah.
lectures, you want to
Yeah.
focus. You want a day of focus. Um, so yeah, it's just fucked.
Yeah.
And like 60, 70 years ago, an academic could literally write one paper a year and that would be successful. And it could be
Mm.
whatever they want. And that would be a successful career. And
Yeah.
it would be a gold standard paper.
Yeah.
And because it would be well researched, it would be passionate, it would be
Yeah.
um, thorough. And now it's like, oh, the quarter's almost up. I haven't finished this paper yet. Oh, I'll just scrap something out now. And it's just
Yeah.
fucked. It's just, and that's one of the reasons why I left.
Yeah. So one of the things in this video
Not the
about
main reason.
problems that you have to deal with insights is like a great way to not get any more funding is to go, I was completely wrong about everything.
Which in science is an important
It's
thing to do.
really important, but you'll lose your
Yes.
funding if you say,
Mm.
oh,
Uh,
that we just worked out that was all
mm.
wrong. And
Yep.
they will, fuck you. We're not giving you any more funding. You discovered
Yeah.
something was wrong.
Far
And
out.
it's so important. But
Mm.
again,
Yeah.
capitalism.
It's yeah. Oh, yeah. Ugh. And of course,
I'm
there is research in the private sector. It doesn't have to be um, in academia, but of course, the private sector it has to make money.
yeah.
So
Yes, there's a
yeah,
lot more
again,
pressure on making money.
capitalism.
Yeah.
Time to compost the rich. Do not eat the rich. Do not eat the rich. It's bad for you. Compost the rich.
I worry that some
There
of the
should
people
be
that
a direct line, the guillotine to compost heap pipeline. I want to
mm,
see that happen. The mansion to guillotine to compost heap pipeline.
or even just like a big shredder, like the wood chipper in the movie Fargo.
Or the the in The Walking Dead how they had that um in the scrapyard the where she led all the zombies
Yeah,
into the big industrial um metal shredder.
yeah,
And they were all her friends, so it was a really teary moment. But
yeah,
she led all these zombies up into a shredder, and they just walked into it, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
or
Or
just
even
fucking Bane that shit from Dark Knight Rises. Get fucking Scarecrow up on that judge's stand and
yeah,
put him out on the ice.
that was pretty funny. The ice bit was,
Mm,
you
yeah,
can't come back. I'm going to shoot you if you come back.
clonk.
They
Yeah.
just keep going. It's oh my god, yeah. There, I think God, we're even discussing that movie. It's probably the least well regarded of the
Oh,
Nolan Batmans. Had
Oh,
some good stuff in it, though. Had some good
oh
stuff in
my
it.
god, yeah. So that third movie was I mean, it wasn't subtle in its message of capitalism is great, hey? How good is capitalism? Wall Street, yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
But
it was so fucked.
I did see a good
Safa, I
joke.
went to sorry, go, sorry.
I was just say
I was
there was a
gonna
good joke about. I'm surprised after Bain set up this libertarian dream on Gotham that all the redditors didn't migrate there.
You're giving bad I'm a Redditor, you know. Like
Oh,
you
if I remembered the password of my original Reddit account, that was set up in the first year Reddit existed. So,
Reddit gets a bad rap. It's no 4chan though.
oh
Um,
no, it's not.
no.
And yeah, honestly, I get that you get excellent information from Reddit because some of the discussions are really good. Like
Yeah.
the subreddits, you can niche down so much. You
Yes.
can cultivate it so you get really good
Oh,
discussion.
yeah, each subreddit is its own community,
Yeah.
and they moderate themselves. So, Safa, no, I did not get free uni. I'm still paying for it.
You have to be
I have a
my
huge.
age to have got free uni. Jesus.
Did you get free uni?
Yep. I finished the year
Oh, you
before they
bastard!
reintroduced fees.
Oh, you bastard! I did not get free uni. Not even
Yeah,
the first time or the second time I went to uni, because I went to uni for my first time in the 90s.
yeah,
And I didn't even know it used to be free back then.
yep.
I had I
80s,
had
baby.
I had a HEX debt, I paid it off, and then I went back to uni, and I still have that HEX debt. And I went to Swinburne for my honours degree, and then I started a PhD at RMIT, and then I left. Didn't
Yep.
finish it because it was fucked.
Yep. Well, I just did a BA and I finished it just in time. The next year they introduced Hex. So I was like,
Oh, wow. How did they do that? Like that would have been unpopular. Like how? Like I don't remember politics at the time. I was too young.
it was just the conservative control of the media narrative. It was fiscally irresponsible to do free uni, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is fiscally positive for the economy to educate people.
Yep. And
But
now,
the poors,
yeah, like
the Liberals didn't want the poors to be educated because the
of
poors
course
are
not.
never voting for the Liberal Party when they get educated.
Yep. And now we're suffering from a brain drain
Oh,
because
God.
PhD students are going overseas
Yeah.
in droves.
Yeah. A friend who has a science, in fact, I think has more than one science degree, works in retail because the LNP in particular gutted science in Australia so badly, like gutted CSIRO, which was a
Yep.
world leader. If you
Yeah.
apply for an entry level science job, you're competing against people with 10 years experience because people with 10 years experience can't get work.
Yep.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
It's
Uh,
horrific. What
it's a
the
nightmare.
Liberal Party have so much to answer for. We used to be the clever country.
Yeah.
That it's just not true anymore.
And even they destroyed manufacturing as well because they're like, oh, why should
Yep.
we manufacture anything here? That's the past. And then you get again, COVID should have been the biggest wake up call, and it doesn't seem to have existed. Like, do you understand? We are on a razor's edge every single day. There is a whole bunch of dominoes that could fall, which would cut off international trade overnight, just overnight. And what would happen to us if that happened?
Yep.
We now
Yep.
know, and they're still not doing anything about it because it's like, Oh,
Does the
that's like
is the
stuff would
Labor
be more
Party aware of
expensive.
this?
Sorry?
Is the Labor Party aware of this?
The Labor Party are fucking cowards.
Oh,
It's ever since
the
Howard made
latest
racism the big thing and Labor's been too scared to go against it.
the latest in Labor Party fuckery that I've heard is that they've opened up an area of I forget which part of the ocean it is. It's in Australian waters, but an area roughly the size of Tasmania, up to they've opened it up for coal and gas exploration.
It's because they're too scared of the bad press. It's like no major party politician in the world has the guts to say everything has to get more expensive because we are not paying the true price for any of it. We are just shoveling the true price a few years down the road. And we keep doing it, and it keeps accreting and getting exponentially worse. And we keep going la 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 la. And at one point,
It's our children who are paying for it.
yeah, you put the last pebble on the pile of rubble, and it collapses under its own weight and crushes everything. It's ridiculous. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows this is real. No one is willing to address it directly because it would be electorally unpopular to tell the truth. And it's just...
But we all know it, though. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
no, but people are massively in denial.
it's the
And like,
oh,
the climate change deniers. You get the people like they literally go, "Oh, we'll come up with some solution." Again, magical thinking. But also, I mean, what's almost inevitably going to happen? Millions upon millions of people in the poorer parts of the world will die. Everything we know about society now will fucking collapse. Nations will close in on themselves. Authoritarian rule will be the order of the day. It'll be machine guns and landmines at country borders. And you'll get resource wars, food wars, and culture and water wars, because the situation will become increasingly dire. And someone will survive. Sure, they will. Like the whole thing about, the planet's going to... No, the planet's not going to die.
the planet will be
Humanity's
here.
not even going to die. A lot of people are. The
civilization will die. No civilization will last forever. Humanity will outlast it. What we make of it at the other side is yet to be seen. The civilization that rises from the ashes is yet to be seen.
Yeah. Will that civilization have learnt anything?
I have little hope.
No. I'm a little bit pessimistic too. I do love William Gibson, who's a great predictor. We're talking about things science fiction gets wrong. William Gibson, who popularized the concept of cyberspace, and his first novels, The Neuromancer, and that trilogy, are fucking brilliant and imaginative and creative. No one has mobile phones, and
oh yeah,
they jack straight into the internet.
Yeah, they do.
Whatnot, but no one has mobile phones because that technology didn't exist, and he didn't think of it. He did the whole cyberspace thing, and it was amazing and whatnot. He jokes about it. He goes like, if a kid reads those books now and they go, "Oh, I bet this is going to be a big conspiracy about why no one has mobile phones," because they're just missing. But his most...
Who could have predicted mobile phones, like smartphones? Who could have predicted that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's the technology that outstrips the technology they have on Star Trek. That's real technology that outstripped their imagination.
There's this thing that I remember lamenting about in the early 2000s, and that was it manifested first in bookstores, where I saw the science fiction section slowly integrating with the fantasy section. And I'm a fan of both, don't get me wrong, but slowly they just kept merging together. And then I saw conventions where they would merge together. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I figured it out one day. Fantasy and science fiction, very similar in that their escapism, but science fiction is forward looking and fantasy is backward looking.
Yeah.
In its escapism. So so like they're both like predictive. They're kind of like escapism. Like, of course, they're exploring humanity to some extent. Good science fiction and good fantasy explore humanity.
Yeah.
But fantasy looks back, science fiction looks forward.
Yeah.
But more and more, fantasy became this big thing. And I'm like, what's going on here? Where's all the good science fiction? And more, science fiction kind of stagnated. And all the tropes just got similar, and all the good science fiction started to just become kind of homogenous. And what I realized one day was that there's only so far you can look when technology is moving so fast. There's only so far you can look. And the mobile phones is a good point.
Yeah.
No one could have predicted it. Like back in the 60s, who could have predicted mobile phones at all? They didn't even have car phones.
I was going to throw this in. I've saved them somewhere because they're amazing. There were these editorial cartoons from some magazine in the 1920s. As someone who didn't like telephones said they were too intrusive, they go, "Oh, can you imagine a future where the phone's with us always?" And it's fucking spot on. Just how awkward a phone ringing in different things, and it's you look at it and go, "Fuck me." It's not about the technology of a smartphone, but it's just social awkwardness of a phone ringing in places where you'd prefer not to be. And this was just because someone found phones really intrusive and hated them.
No, I get it.
It was
text,
hilarious.
don't call.
It was hilarious.
So my point is, it's hard to predict when technology is moving so quickly, and it is. We're learning at an accelerated rate, which is the whole theory of the singularity. Which is a bit, I guess, but that's why, like science fiction, it's hard to predict what will come next when you're during writing your novel, they've just invented something that outstrips your future that you're writing. Like it's
like, Gibson's description of cyberspace was great, but he didn't pick mobile phones. I like his latest one. Refers to a thing called the jackpot, which is where everything goes wrong at the same time and it ends up killing 99% of animal species and 90 to 95% of humans on the planet. But the ones who survive, it's like hunky-dory because the infrastructure wasn't destroyed. And
Jude makes a point about science fiction is not forward-looking because of humanoids and alien masks. Come on, there's only so much budget a TV show can have. That's just, I mean, that's not a point on science fiction at all. That's a point on TV
on
budgets.
TV shows. Well, there was a joke. I remember The Onion having a good one at one point where there was a new Star Trek series coming out, and the headline was, "New Star Trek series introduces alien with completely different forage wrinkles."
Yep. I remember actors refusing to wear foreheads if
Yeah.
they get cast in Star Trek shows. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing a forehead. No forehead, please.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Speculative fiction writer I like, Cory Doctorow, he always talks about, he really explores social issues along with technology issues. And he often uses,
As all good science fiction should.
yeah, phrases like, I'm not writing about the future, I'm writing about today. This
Yes.
thing set in the future is exploring issues of today, because that future will or won't happen depending on decisions made today. That is an extrapolation of what's happening today and what might happen tomorrow. It was a good line, I thought. He's like, I don't write about the future, I write about today.
Yep.
Yeah. But he's good. He had a series of novels in a post-scarcity future. It's basically like replicators were a real thing. It's just basically humans developed a technology, and it was a brain uploading into a thing. So illness was a thing of the past. If you got sick, you just grew a new body and put your brain into that. So all capitalism became meaningless.
Where do I sign?
Everyone, what was made you important was your social reputation. He called it wuffy, but it was basically, the number of upvotes you got on Facebook, essentially.
Oh no!
But it starts off,
beans.
that seems like a positive thing because people are judged based on what they are. And then he just goes, and here's where that would fuck up. Here's where that would be fucking
I've seen that
terrible.
episode of The Orville.
Oh my god, that was one of the most unsubtle episodes.
Ham-fisted.
I was like, hey, maybe social media is bad. Okay, guys, we get it.
I preferred when Community did it.
I preferred Black Mirror. The Black Mirror
one was good.
The Black Mirror episode of Social Capital was fucking awesome. And in fact, I went to rewatch it. The second time, I was going, oh, I can't keep watching this. This is too painful because it just feels real. It just feels
too real.
And it's awful.
It really does.
And it hurts me. It hurts me to watch.
Have you seen the episode of Community where they do Social Capital with Meow Meow Beans?
I don't think I have. I've watched a lot of Community, but I haven't watched all of it. And I know they did one.
It was good, and the resolution was funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jude Maris, that was a fun one. Max Headroom, 20 minutes into the future.
Oh, the original fucking Max Headroom was dark as fuck. And there was a movie, and there was
a movie, there was a TV series, and then there was Max hosting a music video show, which was fucking hilarious. Max hosting a show because he was a psychopath. And
yes, he was. And
God.
It was
his music show was great.
Dark parody. It was originally meant to be like a satirical dark parody.
Yeah.
And it was fucked. It was good. It was really good.
The original movie was good.
A lot of people didn't get it.
TV show. Apparently, the people who made the TV show were nothing to do with the movie, and a lot of people who like the movie hate the TV show. I didn't mind the TV show, but Max,
I don't remember all that much about it.
Max as a music video host was fucking incredible because he was just an out of control. He was all ego. He was absolutely out of control ego, and it was just funny. And they would randomly give him in just bizarrely funny things to say. It's like, oh, when I was asleep, my house was burgled. The burglars stole every single thing in the house and then replaced it all with exact copies. Weird. It's like Max is having an existential breakdown. That's what's happening.
It's weird to think that they did that without any computer graphics.
And it looks like computer graphics because what they did,
I know,
was put plastic on the guy, and then they did some video editing stuff to make him glitch. But it super looks like computer graphics, and it's not.
I know
computer graphics weren't that good at the time.
Yep.
Oh my god,
Especially the glitches. Yeah.
yeah, the glitches were hilarious.
Mm.
But yeah, everyone thought Max was computer generated, and it was no. The poor bastard had to put on all this plastic shit on his face and
Yeah, it
the
was an
plastic
ordeal.
hair. And stuff. But it was super clever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Trying to think. I think his music video show was my favorite. First, because I liked a lot of the music that was on it, but his interstitial stuff was just like he's having a fight with his producer at one point, and you get this little voice in the background who ends up quitting and is like, "I'm going, Max. It's not fun anymore." And he's going, "Oh, how can it stop being fun if you're leaving?" And it's just like, and he's going, "Tim." That's the guy's name was Tim, and he's going, "Tim, where are you going? What can I say? Bye."
Oh god, that reminds me. I was working at a company. Again, I was a programmer.
Mm,
Surprise, surprise! I was in software. Um, and the company had hired a developer. I don't know why.
mm.
He just turned up one day.
Sure, that happens.
And yeah, and it was a small company too, but it was kind of like weird. It was weird. Like it
Yeah.
had a real problem with nepotism and workflow, and
Ooh, I've
oh, it
had
was just
that. Yeah.
But anyway, this fucking unit, this programmer came on, and he just just couldn't. He knew his shit. He knew how to write software, but he just like didn't know how to do anything else,
Yeah.
right? He didn't know all the other jobs you need to know to be a good software
Yeah.
developer.
Yeah.
So, and when I say that for the audience at home, you need to know how to be good at maintenance of code. You need to be able to read other people's code and figure out how it works. You need to be fairly decent at writing self documenting code. You need to um, be good with database stuff, especially if you're working at the time. It was database software. Um, he was a web developer, so
Yeah.
he was ASP.NET, C Sharp,
Yep.
integrating with the database, and I was the software, the desktop software side. So Windows software APIs, .NET, that kind of thing. Anyway, so we butted heads a lot because I was a smartass in my 20s who
Self-awareness is good.
yeah, I know. And it pissed him off because not just because I was a smartass, because I was right.
I was about to say you were right, and that was going to piss me
Mm.
off.
That made it 10 times worse as
Yeah.
well. Like there was what like the thing that stuck out was um like he wanted to write this bit of code for um this functional unit, this functional area of the software, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted documentation on how it worked. And I'm like, well, we don't have it. We have the code. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I just said, you're supposed to read the code. And it's not that big. It's just, you just look at the code and figure out how it works. Like, take a day. It's fine. You've got a couple of weeks to write this software.
Yeah.
And he said, I can't do this. And he was aspy as fuck. It was like,
Mm.
I'm like, he was male. I'm female Aspie. We are very different beings. Female Aspie is still Aspie,
Manifest
but
differently. Manifest
manifests,
differently.
yeah. So I wrote the documentation for him. It took 2 days for me to write this fucking documentation for him.
Mm.
And I wasted my time because he looked at it and said, "Oh, okay, yeah," and then he did it. But he, as a software writer, should have been able to do what I just do.
Yeah.
Right? I just
Yeah.
look at the code, figure it
Yeah.
out, and do it. Whereas he needed documentation.
Yeah.
So good code is self-documenting.
Yeah.
And so, and that was just one way we butted heads. And we were constantly making jabs at each other. And like apparently I was a better software writer than him. And apparently I agreed with him. And and if you insist, but like when he finally got fired, because
yes, but finally,
because 3 months down the track, when his probationary period was finished, and they let him go because they figured out that he was too much work.
it just wasn't working.
To keep it just wasn't working, and they didn't like. I think the excuse they gave him was, "We just didn't realize we don't have the work for you to do."
Right.
But really, it was like he's taking away hours that we could be used.
He's spending too much time with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
He was the same age as me, Safa. He was my age at the time. And maybe it was because I was a better pro. I don't know. I don't know. He was probably better at some things, I'm sure. But anyway, on his way out, he's saying goodbye to people, and I'm like, I poke my head around a corner, right, and I just wave, and he doesn't even acknowledge me, and doesn't say goodbye or anything. He just says, "Well, I've said goodbye to the people that matter," and then starts walking out the door. And so laconically, because the Spartans were always full of wit, I say, "Well, the important people didn't get fired today. Bye."
Oh,
Bazinga. Yes.
Were you saying nepotism? Having been a contractor for 25 years, most of the
I'm not gonna
time
name
I've
the
finished a
company.
contract and moved on, and it's been, I don't want to, one place I would have liked to have stayed. This is back in the 90s. These people were ahead of the curve. They were very good at web enabling softwares and systems. Like they were good. They were very good. It was a small house. They had half a dozen programmers, and they were very good at just web enabling stuff before people really were good at it. But they didn't have a BA. They had the business side. Literally, this side of the building was business, and this side is programming. And there was a failure to communicate, and they hired me as a BA, and suddenly there was a communicator between the programmers. Actually loved me, which is funny because in some workplaces programmers don't love me. This lot did, but nepotism. The boss's brother had a job there. He was a model in real life, and he got a job, and they were actually working on this booking software for modeling agencies. These guys, this is what I know, modeling agencies. I know what they want. And so it was basically, it was your day-to-day operations software. It's how you ran your day-to-day work. And you were just getting stuff. This is the point in history where you had Shockwave as the interface, like very pretty and whatnot. And so this guy had become convinced you should have this all singing, all dancing Shockwave interface thing. And one of the programmers who's very good at it mocked up a demo and said, well, you could have something that looked like this. And then this guy showcased it to some of the booking agencies, and because it looked sexy and cutting edge, everyone said, I love that. That looks great. And so it's like, okay, now we want to try and develop that into an actual product. And so it's like, can I write the specifications for it? And he's showing me this thing with the Shockwave, and I went, okay. And I made the mistake. I think I literally said, this is a stupid idea. I said to the boss's brother, this is a stupid idea. And I said, because this is what these people use to do their basic functional work day in, day out. Everything you're talking about with the shockwave and the beautiful, flashy interface gets in the fucking way. It slows
Yep.
down everything they do. But you're talking about this is a very sexy, happening, hip industry. They want to sound sexy and happening and hip. You show them new cutting edge technology, they say, of course I want that. That's sexy, happening and hip. And I'm sexy, happening and hip. I definitely want that. Then you develop the software and then they try to use it and they fucking can't because it's terrible. And they hate you. They hate you. 2 days after installing this, they hate you.
Yep.
I said,
After 6 months of developing it, 2 days, they'll hate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said, we need to look at purely functional aspects of this and deliver the function. You're layering all this visual interface on it, which is just going to get in the way. We need to work on the functional side of it and do that. But because I actually use the phrase, this is a stupid idea, he went and
Did
told
they
his
take
brother.
that kindly? Oh,
No.
no.
So when
Oh.
my contract period ended, I went bye-bye. And this is one of the times all the developers were really sad I was leaving. And they're like, why are you leaving? Now we have to talk to those idiots directly. You were our buffer between the idiots on the sales side.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's like, I think it was because I told the boss's brother his idea was stupid.
so the nepotism at this place, the owner of the company, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to, because the company
I didn't
still
name names
around.
either, because even 20 years
Yeah.
later, it would be.
Yeah. So the company was owned by this guy, and he put his eldest son in charge of so many things that that he couldn't, literally was spread so thin.
Yeah.
His other son was also in charge of something, but it wasn't related to me. But one of the things, so his eldest son was a salesman, a project manager, also in charge of the workflow of the development team,
Okay.
including okaying individual pieces of work that need to get done
Ooh. Okay.
on a
Micromanaging.
bug by bug level. And it
Ah.
did my fucking head in. And I don't remember how many times I complained about it
Yeah.
directly to the boss, the owner of the company. And I literally said, there are days where I have nothing to do, not because there's nothing to do, but because your son, I didn't say your son, because X name, human name, just hasn't had time to okay the work. And so what'll happen is he'll send an email, I'll get half a day's worth of work okayed, and then tomorrow, same thing.
Oh, just that
And
level of micromanaging. God.
yeah, and it was systemic.
Yeah.
And so and there were days where I had nothing to do. I started writing my own software, like just my own
Just to keep
project,
busy.
because I was bored, just to
Yeah.
keep busy. I was literally bored. I had to go to work. I had to be there.
Yeah.
And so I told him that. I told him, I'm sitting here with nothing to do. I'm writing my own stuff. I'm bored. This is a problem. Please help.
Help.
And I was good enough as a programmer, and he recognized that I could get away with saying, I'm bored, I'm doing nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't even my fault, but also, like, I'd been there for 3 years and I'd
Yeah.
proven that I was a good programmer. But damn, it was frustrating. I didn't stay there for very long. I started looking for more work shortly after it didn't get fixed.
Yeah.
And yeah, like so much work had to be approved. Oh, that guy was also in charge of the IT infrastructure, and
All right.
so your passwords. He cranked up Windows security to the highest level possible.
Yeah.
So for a company of the size of about 7 or 8 people,
Yeah.
the password policy was obscenely obtuse. It was just ridiculous. Things like that. It was just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
Um,
a ridiculous level of micromanaging for that
oh,
number of people.
oh yeah. It was insane.
I had
And
a run at one of Australia's first internet companies.
yeah.
They were doing HTML software, as in an authoring tool, um, as opposed to having to write HTML line by line. It was an HTML
Oh,
authoring tool.
okay.
Very successful. The guy behind it was touted as Australia's first internet millionaire back in the 90s. But it was so
Cool.
cowboyish and Wild West. Half the building, it gotten big enough that now half the building was business and legal, and the other half was program. And I was on the program half, which was shit heaps fun because they'd roll in at whatever time they rolled in, but they would, whenever they rolled in, then they'd do 12-hour days because they were actually super into their work, and
Yep.
they'd be there till all fucking hours doing it. And also, lunchtime Friday was kind of when work stopped, and they'd all be playing network games on the work network, and they
Yeah.
had fucking subwoofers under their desks. So my side of the building was all just gunfire and explosions after lunchtime Friday because they're all just network gaming.
Nice.
But it was so Cowboy Wild West. They found at one point, I don't know, I was doing an audit on network traffic, and there was a bunch of network traffic that they couldn't identify. And they're going, what the fuck is that? And they traced it. Someone who had worked there previously, a very techie guy, had secretly, he'd put a server, which he was now running a business off. And so this business was paying for all these internet costs. I think it was just in a PC tower, he'd made a server, but he had fucking cut a hole. He must have come in on a weekend, cut a hole in the wall, put the thing that he was using as a server in there and connected it to the network, and then covered up and repainted the thing, and it was hidden, and it had been running for
Hidden in the
years.
wall.
Yeah. It had been running for years, but someone just randomly said, "There's some network traffic I don't understand," and he worked out, and then he was
Yeah.
going to find the physical location, and he's going,
Mhm.
it's here," and he was just following cables, and then there was a cable that went into a wall, and he's going, "The fuck is this?" And so he convinced someone he had to knock a hole in the wall,
Yep.
and he did, and there was this fucking PC in there.
Oh my
That this
god.
guy had been running his business off, and it was so funny.
That's hilarious.
It was
They,
fucking
they would
hilarious.
have to have they would have to have been port forwarding to that PC that whole time
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the through the router, through the
and
network, and
they'd hidden their
oh,
tracks for a couple of years, apparently.
wow.
It was oh my god, when they told me that one, I just cracked up.
Jeez.
That's fucking hilarious.
Wow. That is insane.
It was
That
just
is some
cowboy
cowboy
shit.
shit. That is the
It was just
wild
cowboy
west of the
crap.
internet. Oh, man. Those were the days.
Safa, that was in the 90s. And again,
Mm.
like literally, like this guy, the guy who founded the country. God, I might as well
Oh, that's
just say
before
what it is.
routers. That's
Yeah,
not before. That's before switches. That's back
yeah,
in the
yeah,
hub days of
yeah.
yeah,
But
that's
basically, yeah, he just had this physical thing in there that he hid in the wall
mm.
and connected to the corporate network. the guy who was the founder of the company, he would just be doing stuff like he'd just be walking around talking on the phone, like he had an early mobile phone. He's just like, no, my girlfriend's going to come. She wants this phone. She wants this car. And you just need to tell me when she picks a car, how much it is, and I'll do a bank transfer for the complete purchase, because he just had a lot of money. And
Okay. Yeah.
and
All
he was
right.
just walking around having these conversations.
Damn.
And apparently he was also famous for literally having a big dick.
Jesus. Oh no.
The company was named after his penis. That was an in joke. I'm just going to say it. It was
Okay.
Sausage Software. Do you remember Sausage Software?
No, I don't.
That was
I'm gonna Google it.
they had one of the first successful HTML editors. Megaleech knew it. Megaleech, when I said it was named after his penis, he went in with Sausage Software. Steve Alford.
Oh,
Again.
there's a Wikipedia page.
Oh yeah, no, it was big. It was Australia's first major internet success.
Web editors.
Steve was the first Australian
authoring.
internet millionaire. And yeah, it was named after his penis, because apparently he had a big dick. I was taking that under advisement. I never asked to see it, so you know. It was But yeah, he was the classic light. But again, you know, in modern terms, he was a pauper. Yes, he had a couple of $1 million out of this, which was unheard of at the time. But that's nothing.
Chewed in there with the Microsoft pun.
Yeah. So like there was an article the other day, some dude made his money off crypto, and he's like 27, and he's paid the most that's ever been paid for a house in Melbourne. It's like $40 million or something stupid. And he didn't even create anything. At least this dude created real software.
Yeah.
This guy just like created a crypto website that he made an obscene shit ton of money. And yeah, I honestly, and I don't even hold it against him. It's like, oh, yeah, dude, whatever. You lucked into something and fucking whatever. There are worse crimes in the world than you making some tens of millions of dollars off crypto. Again, it's not noble. I don't think it's
Where
noble.
does that money come from, though? When you make money off
from
crypto?
Suckers, like he built a platform to trade crypto, and so he took a percentage of
transaction fees and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but he realized early there was money in crypto and set up this infrastructure, and so made a shit ton of money. Also, he probably actually mined several Bitcoins back in the day when that meant something.
When before it was known what it was going to turn into.
Yeah.
And you could literally churn out one Bitcoin in like a week on your 486
on your PC,
on your or on your Pentium computer.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the sort of comedy series Silicon Valley?
No.
Oh, it's worth watching. I think it's really funny. Like the guy behind it is the guy behind Beavis and Butthead. And I think they got people together who really understood Silicon Valley.
Sure.
But at one point, there's this guy who's he's not one of the main characters, but he's a recurring character. He's a billionaire. He's obviously based on the guy who made his billions from broadcast.com. Mark, brain stoppy worky.
Mark, human name?
Cuban. Sorry, it's funny when you said human. His name's Mark Cuban. Sorry, that was really funny. Mark Cuban there. No, this character is obviously based on Mark Cuban. But he's a complete fucking asshole. But at one point, he's paying these sort of illegal immigrants to sift through a garbage dump because he realized he had a Pentium PC that had mined a couple of bitcoins, and it's on the hard
Oh,
drive, and he'd thrown
the
out the
keys on
computer,
the yeah.
and it was worth
Oh no.
paying these guys to physically sift through the
Mhm.
piles of rubbish because it was worth tens of millions of dollars if he found this hard
Mhm.
drive. It was
Mhm.
so funny.
Yep. There are people who go to great lengths to find abandoned um, uh, Bitcoin wallet keys,
Yeah, which are
um,
on hard drives somewhere, and is it?
or
And
just like physical locker, like because
yeah,
you can you can get the number. It's just a key. It's just a number,
yeah,
and you can like. There are people who stamp it into metal plates and then lock it in safes.
yeah,
The number, and that's
yeah,
their hardware wallet. That's
yeah,
their Bitcoin wallet. Like, it's hardware. It's insane
yeah.
the
Safa, I
lengths
don't
people
think
go
the guy
to.
in the TV show found his hard drive.
Oh,
Again, but the
you
roller
cannot get
coaster
that
of
back.
this software company, Pied Piper, is fucking hilarious. If you know technology, it just follows this roller coaster of and because they change their core thing of what they're doing all the time, because you're doing a thing and that proves to not be a thing, but then you realize the software you coded is actually super useful for something else that you never thought of, and so you follow that.
Mm.
um, uh, you can tell that show's put together by people who know and love technology, but also recognize the insanity of Silicon Valley. It's a very funny show. There's 4 or 5 seasons of it. It's very funny.
Is it an old show or is it ongoing?
It finished a couple of years ago, so it was in the last 10 years certainly. The final season was 2 or 3 years ago. Um,
I'm just trying
it's
to
very
find it.
and again, because it captures the different sorts of nerds perfectly.
Mhm.
And there's like this evil tech CEO who's like an
Oh,
amalgam
it's
of
gotta be
Bill
Bill
Gates and
Gates.
Steve Jobs and all the other 90s. So he's an amalgam of the boomer tech people.
Mhm.
So he's very smart. Like, he's not an idiot. He's very smart. He's a genuine software genius, but he's also evil as fuck. And so you've got all these Gen X programmers who are trying to, and he's their nemesis. This guy who's like an amalgam of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. But I think, yeah, look it up. Sail into the Bay of Pirates or whatnot. I think
I'm
you
I'm heading that way now.
Yeah, I think
I'm
you'd
I'm
really enjoy it. It's very
I'm
programmer centric, and they have all the nerd archetypes, all the people who are on different parts of the autism spectrum,
I've
and
got a
they're
full
very funny.
I've got a mainmast full of wind heading into the bay
Yes,
right now. So
Avasti Hearties,
Arr!
Yo ho Sebastian. Sorry, that's the gay pirate song.
That's well, gay pirate.
I know. Wiki T, hello. You love technology? Good, we love it. Do you know that song, by the way, Yo ho Sebastian, the gay pirate song?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yes, I do. Yes.
I love that song because
I'm
when I
quite
first,
familiar.
I don't know who, someone who pointed it to me, and I thought, oh, the gay pirate song. This is going to be silly and wacky, and it's this beautiful,
It's
tragic
dark.
story of these
Yeah.
lovers who are literally tortured and then ultimately murdered for their love. It's wonderful. It's because it's dark, but because you start off thinking, oh, it's a gay pirate song. It's going to be hilarious. And it's like, no,
bittersweet.
no, they're actually
Mhm.
tortured and ultimately murdered for their love.
Yeah.
But there's beauty in it, and it's just, I
Yeah.
fucking love it. I love that song.
Yeah.
Not least because it's a rollicking yo ho Sebastian. It's great.
And that's all that people remember, that bit.
Yeah, but it's dark as fuck. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
And also, speaking of gay pirates, we're getting a new season of Our Flag Means Death at some point.
I still haven't gotten through the first episode of that.
It's It's not an hilarious laugh your guts out show, but the characters are beautiful. It's just a beautiful character show.
I've been told to push through and watch it,
Do it, yeah. It's just
and
it's
it'll pay
a
off.
beautiful
I've been told
character
that.
show.
So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it eventually when I get to it.
It's not a rollicking, hilarious comedy, which is what I thought it was going to be. But
It's not. When I saw Taika Waititi on it, I thought,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's Taika Waititi," but it's kind of removed from
Yeah,
Taika.
and
Like
then
it's
Taika does some interesting
very
stuff.
different.
Because like Mrs. Angry and I are also watching season 2 of Reservation Dogs, which is a Taika Waititi produced show about kids, like teenagers on a reservation in the US. And they've worked with native peoples and brought in all this stuff. It's a beautiful show. It's funny, and it's just like it's telling a story that doesn't usually get told. Also, I just
Okay.
love the generic insult on the show is shit ass. They just and it's multi-generational. Every generation calls someone who's pissing them off a shit ass, which is just I just find that a really funny insult. It's like you're saying you're someone who does not wipe their ass properly. It's
so
a
good.
weird, quirky show, but again, it's not uproariously funny.
Yep.
Again, because you look at like
Have you
Taika's stuff.
Have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet?
I haven't seen Love and Thunder yet. I'm waiting till it's free on a streaming service.
Okay. Because I have, and I enjoyed it, but I have some criticisms.
Oh yeah, and that's valid. I did.
But I won't.
I love
Ragnarok. Ragnarok was almost like the perfect movie. It was so good.
So fucking like all the other Marvels. I know. I like the Marvel movies actually, but they got a bit serious.
I do too.
And then out of the blue came this 80s
Phase two was just a grind.
It was a bit of a grind.
Thor
Yeah.
2 and Iron Man 2 and oh god, what else was there? There was I don't even know because I just kind of try and skip it. Guardians was okay. Guardians was phase 2.
It has its moments, definitely. And also, because Thor interacting with the Guardians is pretty funny as well.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Quill thinking he's the guy, and he gets really upset that everyone is just basically getting horny over Thor.
Yep. This is not a man. You are a man.
And just like, you know, he's got this sexy god body, and Quinn's going, I'm fit, and like Rocket Raccoon goes like, Quill, you're one sandwich short of being fat at the moment. And Quill's so insecure. It's so funny.
Are you mocking me, sir?
Yes. No, this is how I talk. And again, because Thor doesn't do irony, Thor is so literal about everything, and it's just like, again, Ragnarok is hands down my favorite Marvel movie.
Well, that was just Infinity War. That wasn't even Ragnarok.
Yeah, no, that was Infinity War, Thor interacting with the Guardians. Yeah.
But
and also,
I mean,
I love it, like, because when Thor went into despair, he got fat and stuff. And I saw a lot of people online saying, "I hope that it's like saying like depression makes you fat and it's fat shaming." And all I'm going is like, I can go to cons as Fat Thor now, and
I can definitively say depression made me fat.
Yeah. I'm not joking.
Gained
All I was
so much depression weight.
I can cosplay as Thor now. I can go to cons and I'll just cosplay as Fat Thor. I fucking loved it.
With your like your what's his name, Big Lebowski outfit
Yes.
and
Yeah.
the
No, I can do that too.
beard. Yep.
So what's that? Lisa, haven't watched Our Flag Means Death, you know too much. Oh my god, sorry. Yes, if you're actually into the history of Blackbeard, you it might freak you out. It's like literally I've seen some interviews with Taika Waititi and the other writer of the show, and they're just going, yeah, we deliberately wanted to fuck people up who know the history because yeah, you know, the gentleman pirate was a real person. Blackbeard was a real person. But what if, right? Okay, what if
So
they were
so
gay for each other?
they're the same in name only.
It's just like, and the fact that they're so gleeful as in like, oh no, history buffs are gonna hate us. It's just like fucking
One of
works.
my favorite YouTube channels is History Buffs,
Yeah.
and he does deep dives on historical movies,
Ah.
for better or worse. So he does
Yeah.
good historical movies, he does bad ones,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
fucking love it. And he did a deep dive on 300.
Oh
Like,
my god.
it was
Okay.
good. It
Yeah.
and if you're thinking, "What the fuck?" There's history in that movie, like the
Oh yeah, no,
Agoge
there is. There
and
absolutely is. Yeah.
the Spartans, and he glosses over the fantastical elements, of course,
Well,
but,
because you
the
should. That's
historical
just
episodes.
being fantastical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fluff. But, like, he did a deep dive on, Master and Commander, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, historians
Um,
love Master and Commander.
it's so good. Patrick O'Brien, all his novels are
Yeah.
so accurate.
I'll never
He
understand why they didn't make more Master and Commander movies.
Because they're just so niche. They're
Yeah.
so unsellable to studios.
I don't know, but it had
Um,
Rusty and it was successful
it
and
was I know, I know. It was hard enough to get this one made. Let's
yeah.
just take it as a win, okay?
The
Um,
tactics in it are again, if okay, no spoilers,
mhm.
kids, but Master and Commander is naval battles in what century is it? It's
Napoleonic. It's the
Napoleonic.
Napoleonic Wars, so it's the
And
1800s,
so it's Russell Crowe.
1700s.
Russell Crowe's the
He's a
commander on this ship, and he's
he's a
basically
British captain. Yep.
in this cat and mouse thing with a ship that way outguns him, but it's all
During the Age of
tactics.
Sail, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all
it's all naval
tactics.
tactics.
And
Yeah, oh, it's brilliant.
historians just go, "Fuck yeah, this is it. This is it."
Yeah, and the movie makers just, like, forget how, like, the books. I've read some of the books, not all of them, because they are a grind and a half.
Yeah, it's hard history, yeah.
Yeah, it's it really is. It's like reading a textbook sometimes. But, the movie, they went all out to make it as historically,
Yeah,
accurate as
yeah,
possible.
yeah. I've seen
And
so
it
many
shows.
people
It
so
shows.
so many people who are mad history buffs go like, "I've never seen anything like this. This just
Yep.
gets the details so right."
So
From
much detail.
from the kids who are on the ships and,
Mhm.
it's
Down
just
to the
mad.
interactions between the
Yes,
lower
the
caste
interactions between the
work,
crew, yeah,
and the officers, and the
yeah,
age, and the settings, and the hardware on the uniforms and the
yeah,
lapels,
yeah.
everything.
It's
Just
wild.
insane detail.
But
And
sorry,
so much fake blood. So much fake blood.
so much fake blood, yes. Lisa, I don't
So
know how
much.
much Taika Waititi stuff you've seen, but I recommend all of it, whether it's like fucking What We Do in the Shadows or Hunt for the Wilder
Mhm.
People or
I still haven't watched that movie.
oh god, it's fun. It's like G-rated Taika Waititi. It's beautiful
Okay.
and it's fun and it's silly, and it's heartfelt and it's beautiful.
Okay.
And Sam Neill is a fucking treasure. Sam
And it's
Neill,
got what's his face from the Deadpool movie in it as
the
well. The
husky
kid.
kid.
The husky kid.
And
Yeah.
yeah, he's a little Maori kid who thinks he's a gangster. And
Yes.
And it's clearly
Yeah.
like he got cast in the Deadpool movie because they saw Hunt for the Wilder People and went, "This kid's cool. Let's get him in a movie." And
Yeah.
it's like they built that whole character around. We think it's just cool, and just I know it grates on a lot of people, the self-referential, self-aware stuff in the Deadpool movies, but I fucking
Oh,
love it.
that's you can't have a Deadpool movie
Yeah,
without it.
because
It's meant to be ridiculous. It's
yeah,
meant to
when
be.
the first Deadpool movie came out, because I don't I read a lot of comics, but I don't read superhero. I don't like read DC and Marvel superhero stuff. But it's like, okay,
Okay.
Deadpool, I like the movie. I need to find out. And there was like a Deadpool compendium at one of the comic shops. And it was on sale. Okay, I'm gonna
Mhm.
get that. And it was like the thing, and they didn't really do this in the movies, but they made it movies. Like Deadpool knows he's in a movie, and so he
Yes.
talks directly to the audience on the regular. In the
Yep.
comics, Deadpool has 3 voices. There's Deadpool,
Mhm.
and then there's another meta voice that is kind of telling Deadpool. Deadpool's having conversations with this meta voice that's aware of what's happening. And then there's the comic thing, all the things of, and then this happened. Deadpool knows every one of those things that happens.
Yep.
So Deadpool
Yep.
is on 3 levels. There's like me, and there's some meta voice that's observing what I'm doing and I'm having conversations with it, but also all the comic frames that say, and then this happened. And Deadpool goes, well, that was inevitable, wasn't it?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, so that's how the comic works. And they didn't do that exactly for the movies, but they just went, well, how would that translate to a movie? It's like, well, Deadpool knows he's in a movie. He's interacting with the characters in the movie. He's aware it's a movie, and he's aware someone's watching. So occasionally
He's
he'll
also
talk to someone else
and
like
he's
they're in a
also
movie.
aware of other movies outside the
Yes,
movie universe.
yes. And just
Yes.
throwing stuff in, and even just I fucking love the jokes about going to the X-Men mansion, but he only sees
Yep.
2 X-Men, and he's just going like, "Kind of weird, big house. Why is it only you 2 in here?"
Studio couldn't afford more than just 2 X-Men.
And in the second one, there's a moment where he's having one of his repetitive things about there's no other X-Men, and he goes past it, and a door
And the
closes.
cast are there.
It's Professor X closing the door, and all the
With the
X-Men.
whole cast behind him, and yeah, just a cameo. Just yep.
I fucking love it, and I know some people hate it, and I get why they hate it. I
Yeah,
just think
it's fine.
hilarious. I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's really funny.
I'm taking you back to see Professor X. Who's Stewart or McAvoy?
Yes, these timelines are so confusing.
Yeah.
But even how the movie got made, like they did
the test
test
screening.
they did test screenings, and then they bullshitted it like, ooh, it's a fake leak. And so a low-res
Yeah.
version of their test footage got leaked onto YouTube, and it was really popular. Leaked.
Yes.
And that was popular. So then they put the high-res version on YouTube, which was super popular. And they just went to the studio and went, see, everyone
Yep.
wants this. And the
And
studio
suddenly
went,
they're
"Okay,
making
yeah,
R-rated movies are a thing now. Like
yeah,
they should have always been.
yeah."
They were. The R-rated superhero movies used to be a thing. Like
Yeah. Yeah, well, Blade was super fucking violent and bloody.
yeah.
Blade 1 and 2 were good. Blade 3 was a bit, oh, okay, whatever.
Oh, don't have many memories of that. Maybe I just tried to block it out.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. Blocking Blade 3 out would make sense. Blade 1 and 2
All I
were
remember
pretty
is what's his name? The human, Chris Christopherson's. Was it him? Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, Chris
the old
Christopherson
guy.
is great.
Filling up the car with gas,
Yeah.
spilling it everywhere, and then lighting a cigarette or a cigar or something at the same time
Yeah.
with 0 fucks to give.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Completely defying the laws of physics, of course.
Blade 3 got a bit but but broadly speaking, Chris Christopherson, fucking awesome in the Blade movies. Wesley Snipes, again, when Wesley Snipes hits the mark, Wesley Snipes is fucking great.
Yeah.
Blade 1 and 2, good. Blade 3, but
Fair
it's
enough.
like, it's kind of like, what were those movies with the vampires and the werewolves?
That would be What We Do in the Shadows.
No, yeah. They
With
again, they were threatening to do a
werewolves,
werewolf one.
not
Werewolves,
swearwolves.
not swearwolves. And that never happened. I wanted the whole. But Wellington Paranormal is hilarious for anyone who's never seen it. There were
I need to go to the bathroom. Are you
so
talking about? I know the movie you're talking about.
Megaleech knows. Megaleech always knows.
Underworld. Yeah. Yeah.
And again,
Megaleech
talk
was-
about
his
patchy. The
Google Fu
original
is
Underworld
strong.
was pretty good, and then there were some sequels, and
And
there
that
was a prequel. And you go, okay, a prequel is going to suck balls, and the prequel fucking rocked.
See,
the prequel was great.
I didn't watch any of them because they really cashed in on fucking Evanescence at the time being big,
Right.
and that whole genre of music being big, and it was just so cringy by that time.
Okay.
By the time that movie came out, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I started listening to rave music and going to raves. Anyway, I need to pee, so I will be back.
Yeah, just because it was Kate Beckinsale wearing leather, but it's like.
I guess.
But I'm going to play a video.
I
I need to have a bathroom break too. So you go and do that. I'm gonna. What do I play? I might do my most recent cocktail video. Where is it? Because it was relatively short. Wait, where the fuck is it? There it is. Okay. Okay, I need to do a toilet break. How long is this video? It's only 4 minutes. Okay, that should be fine. So I'm going to share the screen. Rose Biden and the name. Share. Full screen. Oh, what the fuck? Play.
G'day, cocktail lovers, and welcome to the Cocktail Dome, where we bring you all the excitement of big league cocktail making. I'm your host, Chuck Carrots. With me, as always, is my co-host, Archbishop. Thanks, Chuck. And today in the Dome, Mr. Angry has promised to bring us a fresh take on a classic. Well, Arch, I love the classics, and I love exploring ways to freshen them up. So let's get to the man himself. Mr. Angry, what do you got for us today?
Thanks, Jack and Arch. Today's cocktail is inspired by an article I saw on the Punch Drink website. It was about Jim Meehan. Now, Jim Meehan is a pioneer of the modern cocktail renaissance. He's been so influential over the last 20 or so years, and he spent quite a bit of time reinventing an early 20th century classic called the Rose. Now, over the last century, a lot of completely different drinks have gone by the name the Rose. Some of the recipes had vermouth, but not all. Some had gin, some had a fruit syrup, and some had some version of eau de vie.
Ah, the water of life. Side note, Chuck, it's interesting how many spirits have been called the water of life in different countries, different languages. Besides eau de vie, you get aquavite, aquavit, even vodka's derived from the Russian for water. And let's not forget whiskey, which comes from the original Gaelic name, Whiskey Baha.
When you look at all those variations, it certainly is a widely used name. And that's inspired one of the ingredients I'm going to use. It's a honey spirit from the Archie Rose distillery, which they make from the honey from hives on their distillery roof. And it's got the cheeky little pun in the name. It's eau de bee, which I guess is order of bees. That seems fitting. And another ingredient I'm going to be using was inspired by the Punch Drink article on Jim Meehan. In his research, he found the original recipe had sirop de groiselle in French, which is red currant syrup. And he finally sourced one and he was very excited. I actually have a groiselle liqueur. That's from local distiller Marionette, who make a bunch of great liqueurs. So I will be using that in the recipe as well. First up is the eau de vie, and we will be using 1 ounce or 30 mils. This is a stirred cocktail, so we'll get our stirring glass out
and add 30 mils of the O to B. I'm staying with the Archie Rose Distillery and using their citrus forward gin they call Sunrise Lime, and it'll be the same amount, meaning 1 ounce or 30 mils of gin to our glass. I'm also going to add some dry vermouth. I'm using this Unico Pomelo vermouth, and it will be once more 1 ounce or 30 mils of vermouth going in our glass. This is the Groiselle or red currant liqueur from Marionette, and I will be adding 10 mils, around 1/3 of an ounce of the liqueur to our glass. As a final touch, I'm adding about a bar spoon, around 5 mils of cherry syrup to the glass. I've taken that straight from a jar of maraschino cherries. We add ice to our glass, and we want to stir that for about 25 seconds to get it nicely chilled and a bit of dilution happening. We strain that into a martini glass, no garnish, serve it up. Here is our version of the rose. Well, what are we calling this, Mr. Angry? I'm going with my friend Daniel's suggestion. A rose by any other name would be a sweet. But for ease of reference, maybe we'll just call it a rose by any other name. Oh, that works. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, I like that. It's like a fruity martini. Oh, yeah, but not over the top sweet like those 80s and 90s drinks that have martini in their name. Yeah, and of course, you can adjust any of the components up or down to suit your taste. Which is exactly what people do. All those versions of the rose over the year, Jim Beam alone having 4 major versions. Yes, Arch, the classics are classics for a reason, but you should never be scared to explore variations, because life's too short to waste time on boring cocktails. Cheers!
I can't hear you.
Because my microphone's turned off. There you go.
And now
Jesus
you're super loud, and I think that might be me, so I'm going to turn you down.
Oh, well, I certainly didn't change any volume on my end.
And well, I'll turn you right down because now I
Do
can
that.
hear you, and that's
Do
a
that.
problem. So
Yeah, all right.
so now I can't hear you at all. So much.
Well, you know, you got to strike some sort of balance between the two. But
I'm sorry, you said something.
wasn't important. Wasn't important.
I changed.
You changed?
No, like my frame changed. My frame.
Yeah, it's that is
Ah!
the. I can do all sorts of things with the screens.
It's weird. Like my camera's up here,
Yeah.
but I'm there. I'm like, I'm up here. Come on, my boobs are here. I'm up here.
Sure.
And if I adjust my camera settings, see, I'm on 720p, but I'm in a dark room, so I'm blurry.
It's all good.
Adds to the mystique.
Being mysterious.
Magic. Oh, well, that took a lot out of me.
What? Going to the
Going
loo?
to the bathroom.
Yeah, no,
I
I was
pulled my-
seriously, oh my God, there's the phrase pissing like a racehorse, and it's like, I was really doing it. And I was having flashbacks to when I used to do blog TV, because YouTube at various times has made it really hard to stream, and I don't know what the fuck is behind it. At the moment, it's super easy to stream live on YouTube, but at various times on YouTube, it's been very easy to stream, and then they change something, and it's super fucking hard. It's like, well, you have to download this specific thing, and then you have to know this bit of code, and you're going to put and it's like, what? Why the fuck? It should be click a single button to stream, you fucking idiots. Which is what it is.
Okay.
Sorry, I just dropped something.
Well, I had a really weird white discharge in my underwear, so it might be something, might be yeasty or something.
Thanks for
I don't
sharing.
know.
Okay. Yeah.
You're welcome. Vaginas. They are complicated.
Yeah,
Or
but
bacterial vaginosis. Who knows?
I used to do these. I remember doing stuff on blog TV when I'd be streaming and I'd be like drinking Pepsi or something, going, "I got to piss. I don't want to leave the stream." And empty bottle of Pepsi, and just off camera, I'd be just going,
Oh
"Ah."
no.
And
Oh
like
no.
a
I'd rather be talking about
1.25
discharge.
liter when I'd really just held back, and it was like, oh
Damn.
no, the bottle's filling up. The bottle's filling.
Oh, what do I do? What do I do?
And so it became a
Because you
running joke.
can't stop midstream.
Yeah,
Like that
no.
shit's difficult to do.
It became a running joke on the streams. Was I gonna like piss off camera and just going to fucking overfill the bottle again? Pissing more than a liter, that's, you know,
That's
you've
good
been
work.
holding it
That's
in at that point. If you, I remember that happening
yeah.
once when I was in hospital for surgery. I was only a teenager, and I didn't want to use any of the, like, you know, the bottles they give you to piss in or a bedpan. But I couldn't hold it in. I'd been holding in for a day, and I wasn't allowed to get out of the bed yet. So I said, "Can I have a bottle?" And I got it, and it was like finally, oh, and it goes on for a very long time. And
Fair
a nurse comes, yeah, and the nurse actually comes back to me and goes, "How many times did you use the bottle?" And I went, "Once." And she says, "Oh my god, you got to be busted." That volume
Actually,
wise, that's pretty impressive.
I remember doing something like that too. In hospital, I was in the ER, and I had to relieve myself, and yeah, almost overflowed from one of those things.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
just,
like they underestimate how much the human body can hold.
yeah,
Like the makers
yeah,
of those things.
yeah,
Seriously. Like
yeah. Well, see,
especially like nerds. Like nerds who game or sit at a desk coding
hold it
or
in. Yeah,
you just learn to it's a bladder. It
yeah.
grows. And you train it to
It's flexible. Yeah,
for maximum laziness,
yeah,
maximum gaming,
yeah.
you know.
But when you hold it to the point where any movement at all is painful, and you go like, "This is it. I have to go
Yeah.
to the loo," and you have to walk very slowly because every movement
Oh, look,
causes
the
pain.
only time that has ever happened to me was Endgame. Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, like staying the whole length of the movie.
The whole length of the movie.
Yeah,
I think it was Endgame. It was a long movie. And now I just know, just like go to the bathroom beforehand. Just do it. Just always just do it. If it's gonna be a long movie. The only time I got caught out was I didn't realize how long the Batman was going to be. The new one. I had no idea. It caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there and like, when is this fucking movie going to end? I need to use the restroom, and it just kept going. I'm like, "Ugh."
Yep.
But it didn't get to that point. Didn't get to the point where I was like in pain.
I actually had that problem way back with The Matrix, which is not a long movie, but I should have gone to the
No.
toilet before the movie. And at about the halfway point in the movie, I was like, "Oh, I can't stay here." And it was a bit where Cypher's talking to Agent Smith about doing it, and that's when I went, "Okay, they're
Oh
just kind of
no.
talking. Maybe this isn't important." I
Oh
have to
no.
go. And I was like,
Oh, fucking look at Sapa's comment right there.
"You wouldn't use a bottle?"
No. The next
Oh,
one. The
us?
next one.
Went to the
No.
toilet when Han Solo died. Oh, that was poor timing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Whoops.
That was poor timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I used to go to the bathroom during intimate relation scenes, vigorous hugging scenes in movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they
Special
bore
hug.
the shit out of me.
Yeah.
They're just like
Um,
they hold no interest to me whatsoever. So I just go to the bathroom. I just switch off. Like there's no point to like having a sex scene in a movie. I just don't understand why they're there. And they were
I've
in the
already.
80s. They were in every single movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That
And
was
in
the
the
thing.
70s, it was always like they had to have boobies. And I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah.
But it had to be a sex scene as well. Like
Yeah.
I just don't know. But
Yeah.
like a sex scene in a movie? Why?
I,
Why?
I've already invoked the Onion once tonight, but there was a very funny one they had where family decides to white knuckle it through a sex scene on family video night, and it's like, and it's just describing a family with a couple of preteen children
Oh
watching
no.
a PG or M film, and just out of nowhere there's a sex scene, and they
Oh
just decide
no.
just no one acknowledge this is happening. Where it's like mum, dad, and the
Yep.
kids. There's a sex scene.
Mm,
No one acknowledge
mm.
this is happening. Just
Was it
as and
was it
first it was white
old
knuckle.
o- old school Onion before smartphones? Because like the kids were just on
Yeah,
their
no, no. This
devices.
this is a fairly old Onion article, mind you.
Yeah.
With my mum, I watched David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. I don't know if you watched
Hmm.
that. There's a lesbian scene in it, and Mulholland
There
Drive
is.
is a pretty good movie. And I'm watching it with my mum; it's pretty good. And then there's this lesbian sex, and I mean, this was only 10 years ago or whatever. And watching this movie with my mum, and there's a lesbian sex scene, and we were both going, yeah, let's not acknowledge this is happening.
Angry.
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive was 21 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, I know it came out a long time ago, but when I watched it with my
Oh,
mum,
okay. You watched it 10 years
new.
ago with your mum.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I watched it with her this morning when I rolled out of bed, and we both thought it was fine.
Right, I get to get you like Big Cat got me. My mum's been dead for 10 years, so
I know. Boom-ksh. Rigor mortis makes me hard. Woo.
So I've done that with people. It's just like when I've had some stupid fucking troll come onto a thing, and I said something about fucking their mum, and they said, well, my mum's dead. Like they thought that would upset me when they said their mum's dead. I went, yep. Well, you know what? I dug her up and fucked her corpse, and she still said it was the best experience of her life. And by the way, she's ashamed of you. She.
Sorry, she's
She's ashamed of you. When I dug up her, sorry, I'm
What?
going to do this so you see more, because look who's joining me.
Ah, Mimsy. Oh,
Is that like, did Mrs. Angry get off the lounge and go to bed, and you were sitting on her lap, and you feel affronted now? Is that what
and
happened?
now she wants human company.
Is that what happened? Are you affronted?
Oh,
Yes. It's really hilarious because she's so skinny, and a vet actually worked out because she has hypothyroidism, so she's got pills now. Her mood seems to have improved.
Yeah, is she putting on weight?
Oh god, no, she's still really bony. Like I'm patting her down here, and it's like I'm just getting all these bones down her spine, and particularly her hips with her back. She likes it, but
Yeah.
her hips on her back
Oh.
legs, it's unpleasant.
I remember I was very young at the time. My grandmother on my mum's side had arthritis, and this was back in the 80s when arthritis made you like this before like
Yes.
some of the more modern medication. And she was like really bony and my mother kept telling me to give her a back massage, and I'm like,
Oof.
please don't.
Yeah. Sorry,
And it was
arthritis.
it's like that. It's the Mimsy, but without
Yeah.
the cute cat
Yeah.
part.
I'm testing your memory
And
now.
tell that to a kid, to a preteen kid. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Because you are somewhat younger than me. Do you remember Blankety Blanks at all? Did you ever see the TV show? And
With
Ugly
Graham
Dave Gray,
Kennedy.
who I thought was hilarious. Okay.
Yes.
When you said arthritis, I just remember him having a thing with Graham Kennedy. He goes, "Oh yeah, I had a date with this woman the other night. She was like this. Ugh. Terrible arthritis in her hands." Ugly Dave Gray was a fucking genius. He was so fucking funny.
He always had a cigar.
Yes,
And
that
you
was his
cannot
thing.
do
big
that
cigar.
now. You
Yeah,
cannot do
he was
that. It must
channeling
have
Groucho Marx.
stunk. Yeah.
Ugly Dave Gray was fucking hilarious. Also, I remember going once with a friend. They said, "No, this will be good." Do you remember Lucky Grills?
I remember the
big fat
name.
Australian. He had a cop show called Bluey in Australia. It was
Yes.
immortalized as Barge Ass on the Late Show.
Yes. Barge Ass. I remember
Barge
that.
Ass was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Barge Ass was so funny. But that was the original show was called Bluey. But that guy, I saw him do a stand-up routine with Jan Adele, who was a woman who was the same age as him, and they were just doing this like vaudeville blue comedy at an RSL club. And I went there with a friend, and we were watching them, and we were in hysterics. And it was this combination of the stuff was actually funny half the time, and half the time it was just cringe as fuck, and we were just in hysterics. We were just going,
Oh no.
Oh my god, this is a time capsule. This is fucking amazing. Like, probably still my favorite joke that the two of them had, Lucky Grills and Jan Adele.
Bear
Lucky
Grylls?
Grills said, "Oh,
No,
my sister had this accident where she backed into the propeller on a light airplane." And Jan Adele said, "Was it bad?" And he goes, "Oh, disaster." Like, she backed into a propeller and it disassed her.
Oh,
The whole show was that sort of
oh
joke.
my god. Oh.
It was just this perfect balance of hilarious and cringe. It was fucking amazing.
Oh my god. Hey, I wanted to ask.
We're working blue.
I wanted to ask you if you were interested, because you know Friendly Geordies.
Yes.
Every so often he'll come down to Melbourne and do his comedy routine at the Comics Lounge.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know if you wanted to go to that.
Okay, short answer, no. And that's for two reasons. One, I'm going to be a bit of a prick and I don't really want to give him money. But also, the Comics Lounge, for reasons that don't bear going into, I have a personal grudge against the Comics Lounge. And I won't go there. The reasons are personal and petty and mean nothing to anyone but me.
The last time I went there, I went to see fucking Chopper Reed, and
Chopper Reed, my god.
Yes, he used to go there on Thursday nights and answer audience questions, and it was funny as fuck because he wasn't very bright, but he had a lot of stories, and it was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
But the comic because he was up on stage with a comic, was he kept hitting on me, and I was equal parts horrified and disgusted, and kind of also like strangely complimented, but also ew. Stop.
No,
but he wouldn't. And and like, because my question to Chopper Reed was what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. And the reason I couldn't say that properly was the gin I have been drinking. But Chopper didn't understand the question, but the comic just like nailed it. Like he just like, oh, it's the existence of one proves the non-existence of the other. So blah 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 blah. And he thought he was really smart, and he thought I was smart, and he thought we should make smart babies, and I disagreed.
So also talking about Chopper reminds me of the comedian Heath Franklin, who has his Chopper character. And I cracked up when I read once when Chopper Reed was still alive, and he found out this guy Heath Franklin was building his whole career around a spoof Chopper character, and he's basically going, I think that guy probably owes me some money. I might go see him. At that point, Heath Franklin probably went, ooh, I'm in trouble here, because Chopper Reed is an actual fucking psychopath. And if he's publicly saying, I think this guy maybe owes me money, I could be in trouble.
Yeah, whether it's legal or not, he did like make a bit of money as a standover person.
Yeah. No, you don't want to. Again, I always think of the movie Chopper with Eric Bana is fucking amazing because it's inspired by the weird fucking books Chopper Reed wrote, which were clearly not truthful. They were exploring ideas of things he had, and they were clearly real stories meshed with Chopper's fictionalization of himself. And so you got those bits in the movie where much of it was very naturalistic and gritty and but occasionally Chopper would do this thing where he would talk directly to the camera in verse, because there was stuff in Chopper Reed's books where he would write poems about guys who he fucked up and whatnot. And it was just like, that movie was pretty legendary. Also because prior to that, Eric Bana was most famous for the weird sketch comedy, like Poida and whatnot. And that was the other thing. When Eric Bana got famous for being a dramatic actor, I thought, I'm going to go freak out Americans. I'm going to freak out Americans by showing them these sketch comedy things.
God. Yeah.
It's kind of like showing Americans who only know Hugh Laurie from
House.
House, showing them Fry and Laurie sketches and watching their
or from
brains
Blackadder
fucking explode. Blackadder or Fry and Laurie sketches and watching their brains explode because they only know him from House. And it's like, no, that's what we call an actor. They can do very different things. That's why
they get paid a lot of money.
You have one idea of them in your head, but they exist outside of that. It's like, geez. Oh yes, Jude. He did great stuff. Jeeves and Wooster, with Stephen Fry. Yes, that shit was pretty wild too.
I can't say I've seen that one.
Yeah, no, it's pretty weird because that's PG Wodehouse stuff, and it's pretty wild in a different way. I tell you what, like, God, after 11, I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm crashing as well.
Yeah, Mimsy's here. Mrs. Angry's gone to bed. I'm going to go to bed. So if I go to bed now, I don't have to sleep on the lounge because Mrs. Angry's only just gone to bed.
I don't have a lounge, but I have my own bedroom. So
yeah. So you've slept on my lounge. It's actually a really good lounge for sleeping on. It's very comfy.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
it's pretty comfy. I don't dislike sleeping on it, but I'm slightly more not slightly.
You're more inclined to sleep with your wife?
Yes, I'm way more inclined to actually sleep with.
So am I. So am I.
I know, which is understandable. And
that joke never gets old.
More inclined to sleep with her. She literally does this thing. I've learned I can do because I've got to put my fucking CPAP machine on and lie back, and I usually start off lying on my back, and I'll eventually go. But I'm lying on my back. Mimsy will climb on, and then I just sort of like spread my legs, and she'll sleep between my legs because that's really comforting to her. And then at a certain point, it's like, I don't want to be in my back anymore. I'm going to roll this. So I've got to do this thing where I don't disturb Mimsy too much because she'll make a big scene, and crook my legs around so she's still got somewhere to snuggle. So she's ready to snuggle. You're going to go to bed with me, Mimsy?
Hey,
Yeah?
you know, when you did this, right,
Yeah.
and you had your mustache below it, you kind of look like Booney, David Boone.
David Boone.
Remember
I
David
need to.
Boone?
I need to have a much more
You
prodigious
need,
mustache.
yeah,
Yeah. Again,
legend.
it's kind of funny when you say Boone was a legend because he had 40 beers on a flight
Nah,
between.
he was a legend
Australia
because he
and
was a
England.
good wicket keeper.
And he was an exceptionally good. But when you say
Yes.
like, oh, he was a legend because he drank more beer than anyone else had ever drunk on a flight between Australia and England, and people say, I'm sorry, do you actually applaud that? Yes, we do.
No.
He's a sportsman. Sorry, he's a sportsman, and you're talking about how much alcohol? Yeah,
Yeah. Back in the day when sportsmen drank and smoked heavily.
Yeah, and fucking like even like Shane Warne, and everyone's glossing over where he's died in a notorious sex spot. Whereas like, yeah, he probably didn't die from snorting a kilo of cocaine before, and it's like, okay, no, the family wants him to have. No, it was a health problem. Yeah, okay, he did not die because he huffed a garbage bag full of cocaine before having group sex with 20 different sex workers. And it was just like, that's sure, the family doesn't want that to be his legacy, so let's say that's not what happened. He was in a notorious spot where someone like him would be doing bags and bags of cocaine and indulging in group sex.
Coincidence, but we won't mention that. Yeah.
And it's kind of like Michael Hutchins. Like Paul Yates wanted to say no, he was definitely doing autoerotic asphyxiation. He wasn't depressed. And the family was like, no, he was depressed. Okay. And the coroner went, yeah, we're going to side with the family and say he was depressed and it was suicide. And Paul Yates is like, no, he was into kinky shit and it was accidental. And the family are like, no, that's not how we want him remembered. Okay. And the coroner went, yeah, we're going to side with the family. It's kind of like Warnie. Warnie, yeah, maybe it was a health condition, or maybe it was because someone backed a truckload of cocaine up to his hotel room and he just dived head first into it. That might have been a thing that happened. I don't know. It's a mystery.
Who knows now anymore?
Knows?
Like,
who knows? He may have just spontaneously died, or he might have consumed enough drugs to kill an elephant. Who knows? Who knows what actually happened?
Only he can tell us that now.
And he can't because
we'll
his
never
heart
know.
exploded after.
After whatever exploded in a powdery cloud of cocaine.
I know. It was just like he just painted the walls. Oh my God, we're so disrespectful. We're so disrespectful.
Because I really looked up to him when I was young.
I know. He was a role model with his smoking and drinking and fornicating.
Oh yeah.
He was a role model for the kiddies.
Before I knew all of that, I played cricket when I was young, and I was a good spin bowler. So,
but he literally bowled the ball of the 20th century, and you can find that video on YouTube, and it is truly spectacular.
It's truly remarkable.
He bowled at Mike Gatting. He made a ball move in a way that defies our understanding of physics. And Mike is brilliant. Mike Gatting
he quantum teleported that ball
He
straight
did.
through
Mike
that bat.
Gatting just does this blocking thing, and the ball moves in a way that physics tell us a cricket ball cannot
Mhm.
possibly move, and
Yep.
bowled Mike Gatting, and you just get Mike Gatting standing there going, "What the fuck just happened?" And everyone's like, "Woo!" And Mike Gatting's just going, "No, I wish for science to get involved here and say that's what he did is not possible. That the ball went this and then it went that way and then it went back this way. No,
Mhm.
physics says that can't happen."
Well, that's when we were making cricket balls out of vibranium, obviously.
Exactly. And Mike Gatting just walks off the field going, "This is bullshit, okay? This is bullshit. I just got bowled by something that defies the laws of physics, and fuck
Fuck
it.
this.
Fuck
Yeah.
it." Seriously,
Yeah.
go and find it because it defies
Yeah. Oh,
belief.
it's
It
good.
fucking
Yeah.
defies belief. His ball goes, it changes direction 4 times. And it's just like, and because leg spin was
Yes.
so unfashionable when
Mm.
Shane Warne started. Leg
It
spin
was
was a
all about
fucking joke.
the fastball. And
Yeah.
then Warner came in and
Yeah.
just changed the game. Like
Yeah.
it just
I think I just got a
changed.
text message, which I'm betting is, oh no, why did I get paid money? And oh God, I feel like that's a fucking scam. Sorry, I thought I got a text message from Mrs. Angry saying, "Why the fuck aren't you?" Okay, it's from
You
my
should go to bed
offspring.
because I am
You gotta
also going to bed.
ask my offspring tomorrow. Why did you put $17 into my account? That's really weird.
That's a very random amount. So
It is weird. But anyway, yes, Safa, you search on YouTube the ball of the century.
not
And
ball off the century, ball
yeah,
of the century.
and it is
I'm just being
unfortunately quite low res video because of
of
broadcast
the times.
quality at
Yep.
the time, but it is fucking mind blowing. You look at it and you're going, "What the fuck? How did he do that? That makes what the fuck? That is weird shit." Anyway, so anyone who's doesn't know cricket is just super confused by our whole conversation there. And that's the way we like it. We
Cricket.
like to confuse people. Going to bed. We're both going to bed. I am probably not doing a stream. I'm like I said, I'm cutting back the streams. I'm probably. I'm saying probably because who the fuck knows? I might get sad and lonely. I'm probably not doing another stream before Thursday night. But I don't know.
My apologies for no cat game tonight. I was super tired when I got here.
Yeah.
After Neddy's
Oh
played,
God, you
and
no, you died out. But yeah, for another night, if we want to do that game stream, we'll do that. But I'm probably not doing another stream before Thursday. But on the plus side, you might actually see a pre-recorded video on the Angry Rosa channel where I inflame Abigail by saying the Lord of the Rings is racist as fuck. Which is actually not my premise. My premise is anyone who's upset at the multi-ethnic characters in the TV show is definitely racist. Supporting thing
because I was getting my keyboard warrior hands ready. I was getting my YouTube comment gloves. You know, my fingerless leather YouTube comment gloves. My fedora ready. My katana umbrella ready for some keyboard warrior action in the YouTube comments. There, I was So
the racist elements of Tolkien's writing is actually only secondary. The primary bit is like, actually, if you're upset by multi-ethnic characters in this TV show, you are actually racist. It's or you're stupid as hell. One of the two. But anyway, you all take it. I said I might not be on till Thursday, but who fucking knows? I am a weird and mercurial individual. Anything could happen. We'll see. But I probably won't do another live stream before So I'm thinking I'm going to keep the live streams till weekends, like Thursday, Friday, every second Saturday. We'll see. We'll see. Fucking who knows? But bye for now. You'll take care.